All right, we got a big backup for some reason. Westbound 24 from Bell Road backed up all the way to Old Hickory Boulevard in Antioch. I've checked the cameras. I don't find a reason why other than volume, but that's the major thing right now. Other than that, just the usual slowdowns forming. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. My name is Matt Murphy, and this chair is as high as it's ever been in this studio. Me, not so much. Good afternoon. Welcome in. It's Monday. Don't make me laugh, Weaver. Monday, February the 10th, 2025, and I'm pleased and proud to be here. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative of your time as well as we begin the afternoon drive show that we call the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk. There's Chris Weber. He's right behind the first set of glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. Hello, Mr. Weber.
Howdy.
How's it going?
That's going good for a Monday.
Well, good.
Won't complain.
I'm glad to hear it. And then behind the glass, behind Chris Weber, is the aforementioned Mr. Ken Weaver, who is busy with headlines. He's also quick with a laugh and maybe a comment or two. I might have to lean on you, Mr. Weaver.
Yes, sir.
With regard to the Super Bowl shenanigans, because I previewed what Chris Weber liked most about the Super Bowl right before the show started.
Yeah.
Short conversation.
It was a very brief conversation.
I take it Brother Chris wasn't impressed.
So here's how the conversation started. I said, you know, everybody's watching the Super Bowl nowadays just to complain about it. I use the B word, but I'll try to clean it up on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody just loves complaining. And as I said, everybody watched the Super Bowl last night. I watched one of Weber's eyebrows go up just a little bit. I was like, oh, he didn't.
Not a second. Not a single second.
Ken.
Yeah.
Ask him the question. Ask him the question.
What question?
He did not watch the Super Bowl, Ken.
Oh, why?
No, not the why, but the what.
What did I watch?
What did he watch?
What did you watch, Brother Chris?
This is the best part of the story.
I was watching season 2 of the Netflix show Fake Profile.
Fake Profile.
Yeah, it's
Fake Profile.
It's a Spanish, one of those Spanish. It's almost like a telenovela type show. It's very, soap opera-esque, very dramatic, over the top. But it's pretty good, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that season 2 was out, so I said, well, let's watch that.
What's your favorite part about this show?
The young ladies are quite attractive. Lots of attractive women in that series.
What is the movie where the guy says he ain't very smart, but he's got guts, and guts is enough. See, I was testing you to see if you would tell the true reason, because that's what he told me to.
There's no shame in Brother Chris's game, man. He'll just tell you.
It's like, what's so good about this show? He goes, the women are good looking. That's what's so good about this show.
Well,
and I said, is it subtitled? You said it's not subtitled.
No. Well, I mean, I'm sure they do have subtitles, but I watched the English dubbed version because I don't want to read.
Yeah.
What's going on, because it distracts me from looking.
Yeah.
Got to see what's going on.
Yeah. I'm going to check that out, Brother Chris.
I would just watch it in the Spanish. I mean, just be to hell with it.
It's funny. I did that when we were when we got stuck in the hurricane down in Puerto Rico a couple years ago.
Uh-huh.
We were in the room and we just watched. We were sitting there watching like Telemundo or whatever it was, watching these game shows. We had no idea what's going on because it was all in Spanish. But it was entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, the best. I think my most memorable movie watch in the last 3 years was watching the Spanish language version of Lost Boys. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. They run in the comic book shop. Vampiro! So good. Anyway,
Vampiro?
I think that's Spanish for vampire. Yeah.
That makes sense.
They got they got vampiros in Santa Clara or wherever the hell they are.
Yep.
So only 2 out of the 3 of us, which is, I think, fairly representative of the world.
Yeah.
2 out of every 3 people in the world watched the Super Bowl last night. We may as well get it all out of the way. Ken?
Yes.
What'd you think?
I thought it was I really liked it because I like the way Philadelphia just pushed Kansas City around.
Mm-hmm.
That touchdown there on the 1 yard line,
Mm-hmm.
whenever the Eagles' offensive line, I mean, they just mowed Kansas City back.
It's like the push to what do they call it? The tush push.
Yeah, and they call it the brotherly shove.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just nothing Kansas City could do. I mean, that game was over at halftime.
Well, I mean, I felt like Russell Crowe in The Gladiator. I mentioned this to Chad Benson a minute ago, right? I mean, are you not entertained? Is that not why we're all here? I mean, everyone in America outside of Kansas City said they wanted to watch Kansas City get their butts whipped. And then in the third quarter, everybody was complaining on social media about watching Kansas City get their butts whipped. Well, is this not why you were there? That's what we wanted, right?
Yeah. I went upstairs at one point. My kid was upstairs. Him and his girlfriend were watching in the loft, and I went up there. It was third quarter, and I just happened to pop in and see the score. Oh, 24-0. Oh, okay.
That's nice. That's good.
Went back downstairs and
Good
continued
stuff.
my show.
Yeah, the Eagles, their defensive line is nasty.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They are.
The University of Georgia defensive line?
Yes.
Is that where they came from?
It is, isn't it? It is a Georgia defensive line.
Yeah, I think 3 of them out of the whatever.
My.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Jordan Davis
nasty.
is on there.
Yeah. There's like 6 former dogs on the Eagles team.
I believe that. I mean, of the Philadelphia Eagles, I want to say 6, and then I think Alabama has 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I think there's like 13 players that represent the 2, best teams in the SEC over the last 10 years.
Well, that one, that 50 or 60-yard pass that Jalen threw, that was to a Bama rookie, wasn't it?
The first, how about this? Here's a fun SEC stat that you won't get on that silly sports show over there. The first Alabama player to score a touchdown in a Super Bowl was Devontae Smith.
Really?
Wow.
And, oh, by the way, Bart Starr started at the University of Alabama and won 2 Super Bowls.
Wow. I would not have thought that.
Never. I mean, Joe Namath would never have guessed it, but true enough. I mean, fun facts from the Matt Murphy Show to you. Commercials, Ken Weaver. Anything come to mind?
I thought some of them were kind of preachy, and I didn't like them. I mean, I love Harrison Ford. But I thought he was kind of preachy in his. And
the Jeep commercial, right?
The Jeep commercial.
I mean, he got away with the joke at the end made me giggle.
Yeah, I can't remember it.
He said, "I like my Jeep, even though my last name's Ford."
Yeah. But the rest of it was kind of preachy, like, I don't know, we're not doing enough. And for whatever reason.
And is there I don't want to go off on a rant here, but is there so much hate that we needed the hate commercial?
That too.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I surround myself with lovers and not haters, and I don't know. I mean, perhaps I would be accused of being a hater given what we do on a daily basis, but I just don't experience the level of hatred that apparently Tom Brady and Snoop Dogg experience.
Yeah.
That just means you're the one doing the hating.
I mean, I suppose. I mean, but that's the implication, right?
Absolutely.
If you have any issue with this ad, if you have any questions, if you don't know who the haters are, then you're the hater.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like some of my friends on Facebook are, they're upset that people didn't like the Kendrick Lamar show, and they're turning it into a racist thing. And it's like, maybe they just don't like Kendrick Lamar. Maybe it was a bad show.
It's funny.
It doesn't have to be racist.
I mentioned to New Suit right before the show. We were talking about all this. And I said, I could have a lot of things to say about Kendrick Lamar, but sadly, we live in a day and a time where if I criticize Kendrick Lamar as a white guy, I'll be told, well, you're just being racist.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just don't care for Kendrick. But here's the deal. I didn't see any of it. You know why? Because I went and got something to eat.
Yeah.
Because I don't get into rap. I could not name you a Kendrick Lamar song if you put a gun to my head.
Same.
I do not, but at the same time, I don't necessarily understand what we're doing. Like, you're subdividing the country to the point where, I mean, what percentage of the viewing population was that targeted to? I mean, I don't understand it. I just, you are from the jump excluding 75% of the audience?
Yeah, I was going to say at least 60.
Well, see,
I would think.
Yeah. I like rap, but I couldn't understand a word he was saying. And that may be because I'm old. I don't know.
I felt old.
I could not understand a word he was saying. And so I thought the music, like the bass lines, and that was really good. I didn't care for the rap.
Well, we will dive into it on occasion throughout the course of the day, and you will not hear about the Super Bowl again until next year this time on the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Right now, we're going to take a break early because we have Riley Gaines coming up. She is anticipating a telephone call. She just texted me. Riley Gaines, American swimmer and incredible human being. She was at a signing ceremony for an executive order last week with Donald J. Trump, got named by DJT. We'll talk to her next on Super Talk. USS stands for United Structural Systems, and we have a week coming where there's a lot of rain in our forecast. I mean, inches of rain on a daily basis. And what that means is that if you have an issue with waterproofing, it will be exposed, and USS is here for you. Don't worry. USS can help. Just make the call that so many others have made to USS and find out what's going on with your home, what's going on with your basement or your crawl space or your waterproofing. What is happening might damage the home. But with USS, they are problem solvers. They're going to come in. They're going to take a look. They're never going to try to upsell you on anything. It's not what they do. They are going to take care of business. Over 25,000 satisfied customers have trusted USS for the last 30 years, and you could be the next one. Give them a call today. USS. Go online at USSTN.com or 615-488-7855. 488-7855 for USS.
Expecting to get a lot of rain over the next 36 hours here in Middle Tennessee, California too, and they are really worried about it there, even though it's putting out wildfires. Got the latest coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and you, 21 after the hour. Glad to have you with us. It looks like the only day where we will be rain-free will be today, this week at least, and then for the foreseeable future, the wet stuff. But we need it, and we appreciate it as much as it concerns us, especially during the drive home or the drive to work, et cetera, et cetera. We'll get back into the Super Bowl and everything else coming up in just a moment. Very pleased to have on the Murphy Show hotline an absolute Tennessee treasure. She is Riley Gaines. She is a wonderful swimmer, and she's a political advocate and activist, and now easy for me to say. And she joins us on the hotline to talk about the big week that was last week in terms of women's athletics and the ability for women to compete fairly and to compete at the highest levels without interference from the men folk. Hey, Riley, how are you?
I am doing fantastic, Matt. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I have you gotten back to Tennessee yet? Are you still away? I mean, I know you love getting back here when you can.
Hey, this is my favorite place in the whole world to be. Doing all the travel and stuff I do now, every time I leave the state, I am reminded just how lucky we are here. I think we should take a page out of Trump's book and maybe build our own wall around our own state here.
That's good. I like that. I loved your post last night. At some point, I don't remember when it was, right after the national anthem, I suppose, but I think it reflects on what so many of us think. I mean, and I'll just read you to you, Riley, and get you to reflect on it. You said they tried so hard to make everyone hate Trump. They did everything they could. It literally had the opposite effect. How wonderful was it to see last night the applause that he received inside of the Superdome in New Orleans?
Well, it's hilarious because I just can't say I'm surprised, right? Of course, with the results of November 5th and how not just Trump won resoundingly, but across the board. And I think it says a couple things. I think, number one, of course, people turned out to the polls to embrace Donald Trump, to embrace his cabinet picks. It's a big week for RFK and Tulsi and Kash Patel this week. Of course, to embrace the America First agenda. But I believe people turned out to the polls in masses more so to reject absurdity, that is entirely and thoroughly what the Democratic Party has become, is absurd. So I can't say I'm surprised. I will say I was a bit shocked to see the boos Taylor Swift got, but I was not surprised to see the applause that Trump got at a football game. What do they think? Football fans are Kamala Harris voters?
Well, I think, the Taylor stuff, I love it because she did get booed, obviously. But here's the deal. Philadelphia Eagles fans, they're going to boo. They booed Santa Claus. They'll boo Taylor Swift.
That's right.
I mean, right. So they're going to boo anybody that they think is against them, which I think is hilarious. But no, it was a good evening. And what a great week last week. I mean, I know that I can speak. I'm relatively new in Tennessee, only 3 years now, but I know that I speak for the entire state. We are so proud of you and the work that you have done. I don't know that you could have possibly imagined that your life would take the turns that they have made, but for you to not only stand behind the president as he signed an executive order protecting female sports, but also to call you out by name as one of the champions of this effort. Congratulations, Riley.
Well, thank you. It's a collective win. It is not just me. There's women who fought long before, long harder, a lot longer than I have. So it's definitely a vindicating feeling. It is wild to me that the sitting president of the United States, has to take time out of his day, his busy schedule. He has to take executive action in saying that men cannot compete with women. I mean, imagine our founding fathers. Like, if they saw this headline, they wouldn't even be able to piece it together. Like, what are you talking about? What does this mean? So, nonetheless, it's a big win for women, a big win for common sense, really a big win for humanity. But I can't believe we have reached a point, we have decayed so much as a society that it's necessary to do this.
Walk us through, for most of us that will never have the opportunity to stand in the East Room with the President of the United States of America. What is that? I mean, I just want to peek behind the curtain. What is that day like? I mean, how early do you have to get there? How long are you there? I mean, what is that world like?
So it was pretty amazing because we earlier in the day we had a lot of Hill activity, things going on. your listeners may not know, but of course, with an executive order, it doesn't mean it's actually codified into law for forever. So the House has passed H.R. 28, which is the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act, but the Senate has not yet heard it. So there's a big pressure campaign really right now. I think that's the best way to put it, to encourage Senate Majority Leader Senator Thune to hear this bill on the floor. Last year, because of Senator Schumer, they were able to get out of this. Both Democrats and, of course, Republicans did not have the chance in the Senate to vote on this. We want these people on the record. Whether it passes or not, put these people on the record. Do they stand with women or do they not? It's really that simple. So we were on the Hill. We went over to the White House about maybe 1 o'clock. The event happened at, I think, 2-ish, and so it was pretty amazing, of course, as you can imagine. There's lots of Secret Service and security you have to get through. But it was so amazing to see, of course, all the women, but more specifically, all of the young girls who were there, who were truly so joyous and excited and knowing that there's a future for them and a future in athletics and a future beyond athletics because of President Trump and his actions. So that visual, I think, with him signing the executive order and all those little girls around them in their uniforms, they've got their big bows in their hair that they wear on the soccer field. I believe that is one of the most iconic images and visuals that will come out of his presidency. And that's saying a lot considering this man has a mugshot.
It feels like almost the completion of an arc that started when you competed against, I guess, Leah Thomas, formerly Will Thomas, in NCAA swimming. I mean, how long ago was that, Riley? Do you remember?
Yeah, that was in March of 2022. So
Holy
we're coming
moly.
up on 3 years now, which is wild to me. Number one, I cannot believe I've been graduated from college that long. I refuse to believe I'm that old. I'm like expiring and
Just wait. It gets better. Wait till you get really old in your 30s, Riley.
Oh, please. I'm like feeling like Mitch McConnell or Nancy Pelosi in a wheelchair at this point. No, it's so it was, it's about 3 years we've been fighting this fight. And for 3 years almost, not only were we as women ignored, we didn't have a seat at the table with the previous administration. The previous administration actively worked against us as women. They required these men in our sports, in our spaces, like our locker rooms. And if we even dared to question it, if we even dared to speak up as women, as female athletes, the ones who were actually being violated in these scenarios, then we were reprimanded. We were punished. I could spend the next 2 hours telling you all the different ways they effectively silenced us. And so to now have a voice, in a very loud voice at that, knowing that we are the majority, it just feels good. It feels every day since November 5th, but really since January 20th, when we started to see these wins really coming through day by day, I've just been living in this state of gratitude. I just feel so grateful for God's mercy that we certainly do not deserve.
Riley Gaines joining us, talking about the victory last week, an executive order signed by the president. Still much to accomplish, as you mentioned, with the codification of this executive order to make sure that another administration cannot reverse it. But already we've seen action on the part of the NCAA that had to please you. I mean, it demonstrates to me, Riley, and I'm curious your thoughts, how weak they understood their argument to be. I feel like the NCAA was bullied into that position to begin with. It was weak to begin with, and all it took was a little nudge to push them in the right direction.
I think your analysis is totally correct. I believe from its inception, the NCAA knew what the right thing was. Of course they did. It's a sporting governing body that governs both men's sports and women's sports. You really mean to tell me they don't know the difference between men and women? Of course they do. They knew it just like you and I did, just like kindergartners do. But they were bullied. They were terrified. They were either scared of name calling. They were scared of losing money. I think that's a big part of it. They didn't want to get sued. Actually, the former president of the NCAA, Mark Emmert, that's what he told me. He said, you keep fighting as if he's not the one I'm fighting. And so I asked him, I'm like, how can you say that to me when it's you that I'm working against? He says, well, my hands are tied. I said, okay, well, who's tying your hands? You're the president of the NCAA. And he said, well, we just don't want to be sued. And I looked at him and I said, well, then that's perfect because I'm going to sue you. And I am. I'm in the middle of a lawsuit against the NCAA over this. So their policy, while I'm thrilled that they took action, as you can imagine, with any organization that is filled top to bottom with just spineless, weak-kneed, morally bankrupt cowards, the policy is pretty weak, actually. So we're hoping that there's more action taken, more pressure put on the NCAA to make a better policy. They don't define words. Now apparently we need to define words like female, words like male, words like sex itself. I can't believe we have to define those, but it's necessary that we do. Otherwise, it's up for total interpretation. You know, you can unelected officials to go through the back door and reinterpret these words to mean what they want them to mean, which is exactly how we got here in the first place. And it resorts back to birth certificate, which, as you know, I know, in several states, you can still change your birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
So the policy needs to be better, but nonetheless, I don't know if you watched, actually, there was a Senate hearing just a few weeks ago where Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, is Charlie Baker, he's sitting before the committee room, and Senator Kennedy tells him, he said, you know, why don't you go on Amazon and buy a spine? And I think what Charlie Baker did was just borrow Trump's spine for a day.
The best part of that was your impersonation of John Kennedy. That's pretty good.
I've been practicing.
that's pretty good. So two things before we have to let you go, Riley. I mean, one, did you have a chance to visit personally one-on-one with the president? What was your takeaway with him, if so?
Man, he is just the same guy you would imagine he is. I mean, there is no face he puts on. There is no, I mean, he's just as authentic. He is just as genuine. We heard for years people say, you know, Biden is very sharp. When I tell you Trump is sharp, every time I see him, he says, you know, Riley, how's your husband? How's his construction? Like it's mind-blowing to me how with it this man is. And he's old. Look, I'm not going to sit here and do the whole thing where he's not old. He's old. He's an old man. His stamina, his energy, his charisma, it is incredibly impressive. And he's a great guy. He really is. He's spending time with him one-on-one and getting to you know, develop that personal relationship, understanding how much he loves his family. He's just a good guy who doesn't have to be doing what he's doing, but he is, and I'm grateful he is.
Good for him. Yeah, and good for you. So, final question in the minute that we have left. What was your least, I think I know the answer to this question. What was your least favorite Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, gosh. Look, the Nike commercial, upon first glance, if you didn't know anything about Nike, you might think this is an awesome commercial about women's empowerment. Wrong. Nike does not care about women. They made that very clear just a few years ago when they canned Allison Felix, the 11-time Olympic medalist, 7-time Olympic champion, over 5 different Olympics. That's unheard of. When they canned her for getting pregnant, they said to her, you know your place, just run. She ditched them, launched her own shoe brand called, one of the slogans of it was, I know my place. 2 years later, she's back at the Olympics with her daughters watching in the stand. I mean, they don't care about women. And the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing, giving him endorsements and sponsorships and sports bras and all the things. And he posts these mocking videos of women and working out as a woman. It's the most misogynistic thing I've ever seen. So all that to say, Nike could care less about women. They've been utterly quiet surrounding all of this stuff. Actually, not even just quiet. They've celebrated these men in women's sports.
Riley Gaines joining us for a few minutes. Riley, so good to talk to you via phone. You know I want you in studio when you can get over in Nashville way. We appreciate you, and we thank you so much for representing Tennessee in the way that you do. Keep fighting the fight.
You got it, Matt. Anytime. Thank you.
All right, take care. There's Riley Gaines joining us for a few minutes. Thank you to Ken Weaver for holding the news for just a moment or two while we finished up with Riley Gaines. I appreciate Ken Weaver. Right now, it's time for the news.
Looks like it's going to be a messy commute tomorrow morning. You'll learn more during the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Rain is forecast for California, and it's worrying people there. Alex Stone says a few light rainstorms over the past few weeks has helped put out the wildfires, but this Thursday could be different.
Over about a 36-hour period, with Thursday being the heart of it, the burn zones could get between 1 and 4 inches of rain. That's a lot for Southern California, especially in areas that recently burned where there is no vegetation to absorb the rain and the ground is fragile from the flames and prone to mudslides. Areas of the Sierra Nevada could get 5 feet of snow. But in the burn zones, work is underway to prepare the ground to try to divert water.
Here in Nashville, state lawmakers debating a new bill to try to scare people from pulling out a gun and shooting people in traffic by making the penalty stiffer. Stephanie Sponhorst, whose husband Christopher was murdered by road rage on Christmas Day 2022, that case still unsolved. She tells Channel 4 she thinks this could make a difference.
It happens so often now, and I think, too, it's because they're able to get back out and the punishment isn't hard enough. I feel like it's almost a slap in the family's face because they're, in 15, 20 years and then they're back out.
So this new bill would add up to 6 years to a prison sentence for firing a gun at someone from a car and could put someone in jail for up to a year for just simply showing a gun from a car. Respiratory illnesses like the flu circulating at very high rates across the country. CDC says so far this year there have been 24 million illnesses, 310,000 hospitalizations, 13,000 deaths from the flu. Hospital rates are the highest they've been since 2009. Police in Texas say it wasn't the flu that took Grandma. It was her granddaughter.
Neighbors who hadn't seen Tammy King for a few days called police, who found her dead in her home near Galveston Thursday. Her 17-year-old granddaughter, Tara King, who lived with her, and Tara's 18-year-old live-in boyfriend were missing. They were found Sunday in Laredo, 350 miles from the crime scene. They're both charged with killing Tammy King.
That is Jim Ryan. And the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got a crash, 24 eastbound, right there at 440. Traffic cameras showing the Gore is blocked there. And then 40 eastbound after Jefferson Street. That's got a crash there reported by police. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Have you noticed how unreliable things have become? For example, Matt Murphy going to the news break on time. Either way, if you've not noticed, let me tell you, it's getting more and more unreliable when it comes to auto repair. It'll be ready at 4 and it's not ready at 4. Oh, we can get to you today and they can't get you today. People are very tired of this stuff. If you've had unreliable vehicle repair shops, come to Eurofix. Eurofix turns unreliable into reliable, and Eurofix has your vehicle ready when you get there. You don't have to wait around. Eurofix repairs all European cars with quality that beats the dealer without dealer pricing. That's important because the dealer, just about everything that they do, they pay for it through the dealership's overheads by paying for it in the repair shop. That's a lot of money. Why would you want to pay for all of that? So at Eurofix, reliable means a 3-year nationwide warranty, a free loaner car with every repair appointment. All you have to do is call ahead for those loaner cars. They're very popular. If you're tired of unreliable repair shops, it's time to visit with Aaron Stokes and Eurofix. For 26 years, they've been providing quality auto repair for European cars in our community. 844-EUROFIX or visit myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you to Riley Gaines. If you missed any portion of our conversation with Riley, it will be podcast. Never you fear. 997WTN.com. Just click on the Matt Murphy link. You'll see the podcast page. Go to the podcast page, and there it is. It's not there now, but it will be there presently, before you know it. My name is Matt Murphy, and I think I have better color at this stage in the proceedings. I accidentally forgot to turn the light off, don't you think?
Yeah, I was going to tell you to turn it off, and
I forgot about it.
yeah.
You know, and then I looked over. I finally got the thing up. I have a little mini monitor over here. I finally got the thing up. I was like, why do I look so green? Am I sick? And then I went, oh, no.
That's fluorescent.
I think Dan turns it on in the morning because of the, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's just going to cause more, isn't it?
I think he thinks the fluorescence costs less than the
So he
studio.
doesn't use the others.
I think he's less of the studio lights, more of the fluorescent
Could be.
lights, less bounce off the dome.
Yeah.
I think he looks great with no glasses. I don't know if anybody else has seen him. I think he
I
looks
haven't
great.
even noticed yet.
He has been very self-conscious about it. So y'all give Dan a couple of thumbs up next time you see him or next time you visit with him in the mornings on Nashville's Morning News. He needs that because he said this morning, I was listening, and it was during the – of course, Chris Hand's not helping at all. He's just trolling, And Dan throws out there that somebody said that his eyes look without his glasses, his eyes look, and I'm quoting now, beady.
Which he'll never recover. I mean, it doesn't matter what gets said from here on out.
I know.
It's just Dan's going to have it in the back of his head.
Dan, you look great. Dan, you look awesome. Dan, you look sexy.
Just got beady eyes.
Beady eyes. I got beady eyes, guys.
I'm shame spiraling.
Anyway, so we appreciate you watching on Super Talk Television. The reason I bring this up, you can find us on a variety of platforms. I forgot to do the sign posting early on in the show. It's episode 746 of our visits. It's Locks for Trump Day 345. That's right. I continue to grow out my hair for our man, Donald J. Trump, as President of the United States of America. 345 days it's been going now. You can find us on, obviously, 99.7 FM. Anywhere that you stream music or information or news, stream us, Supertalk 99.7 WTN. And then I, of course, encourage you to head on over to Supertalk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, where you can find us, where I have been told, what color would you say this shirt is?
Burgundy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Ken Weaver, what color would you say this shirt
Looks
is?
burgundy to me.
Mm-hmm. I've been told by someone not on the Supertalk television side of things, but on the text message side of things, that it's ox blood.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, man.
Who
I'm
knew?
going to go with that from now on.
Ox blood.
That sounds like a great rock and roll band's name. Oxblood.
Yeah, it sounds like your kind of band.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And now, what's that band that's coming to Nissan that you like so much, Ken?
That I like?
Yeah, they're going to play.
Cannibal Corpse?
Is it? I don't
know if they're coming to Nissan. I'd go see them.
I thought
I don't
they're
think they
playing
can
with,
fill up Nissan
They're playing with
Stadium.
Pantera. Isn't it
Oh,
Pantera?
Pantera.
yeah.
Pantera.
And now I'll opening for Pantera Oxblood.
Oxblood.
Before you know it, you got Oxblood on.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, sure. Down for it. See, I bet you guys that you just tuned in, I bet you didn't think you'd get that today.
You could have a band called Dove's Head.
I mean, I assume you can. I need to bring out the old. I had a little book that I carried around with me for a while that when I thought of good band names, I wrote them down.
I got one better than Dove's Head. Headless Dove.
Ooh,
Headless
yeah.
Dove, that's good.
Yeah.
Ozzy tribute band.
Ooh, I know. Bloody Dove. Yeah.
I have no control over any of this.
You've lost it, Murphy.
I have.
Forget it. Yeah.
I have. You want me to tell you my band name in college, Ken?
Let's hear it, brother.
Monkey Butt.
Yeah.
Was the name of our band, and we named it. I won't get into how we named it, but
One of those four-piece trios.
We were named Monkey Butt, and it was we had albums. It was Monkey Butt Spank was our debut album, debut album, and then what was the other album? I can't remember, but our complete compilation, the complete set was called Monkey Butt Hole.
WHOLE.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
Of course.
That was the box set.
That's right. That's right. Oh, we had hits. We wrote a tune called Spam Sandwich.
Oh, that sounds good.
Mark Twain Rent-A-Cat.
Mark Twain Rent-A-Cat.
Yeah, well, that was based on a story that I read.
I like
It's an absolute true story that I read in college that Mark Twain loved cats, but he was gone so much that he didn't like the idea of them being by themselves. And so when he went back home, at the time he was living in Connecticut. I want to say Hartford, but it was Connecticut. He would rent cats from the neighborhood so that he could have them around him. But
When
then
he
when
was
he
home,
left,
yeah.
when he was home, but when he went off traveling, he'd give them back to the people. And so we wrote a song called Mark Twain Rent-A-Cat. Sammy let the kitty out. The kitty never came back. Anyway, 47 after the hour. So the political left seems to be losing their ever-loving mind. And I want to discuss this for a moment. It does not seem that, and all of this is a regurgitation of the election. The political left has learned nothing. They feel as if they have done nothing wrong. They don't understand that they, as vocal as they are, and as siloed as they have become, as much of an echo chamber as they're in, they have no idea what the America that exists between the East Coast and California actually thinks or feels. No idea. Nor do they want to know. Frankly, as I've been telling you for the years that I've been doing this radio show, that the political left abides by the basic human philosophy that if you were just a little less dumb and a little less racist, you would agree with them. They can't understand why you would have a fundamental disagreement about how to live your life with regard to interference from government. And they bow before the altar of government in as much as they believe that government provides everything that is good in American life. They believe that. They're completely wrong, but they believe that. But moreover, in modern America, it is not enough that you disagree with them. They will insist to you that if you disagree with them, then that makes you a bad person. And this is key to understanding inside the mind of a liberal. And Donald J. Trump came on the scene really before 2015, but when he came down the escalator, boy, oh boy, it ramped up pretty quick, and it has not stopped since. It's been going 1,000 miles an hour since. That the liberals believe that everything wrong in America, everything wrong in human society is manifested in the orange man. Orange man bad. And that we, those of us who believe in him or believe in the philosophy of government serves best, that serves only when necessary and least, that we are somehow in on it and we're part of the problem and we're just as racist and we're just as evil and we're just as bad, or we're dupes. We're absolute rubes. This is the, he says tongue-in-cheek, winning strategy that saw them get their asses beat in November. It's also a strategy that would have seen them lose in November of 2020 had they not cheated their way to victory. Yeah, I said it. They cheated their way to victory. I'm sorry, folks. It's high time that we stop pussyfooting around what happened in 2020. You cannot tell me that somehow in the midst of a pandemic that Joe Biden picked up 9.5 million magical votes that Kamala Harris did not get this last election cycle when we are being told that Donald J. Trump was literally Hitler. So since the beginning, their strategy has been to demonize, to vilify, and to make fun of. Not just Trump, but any Trump surrogate, any extension of Trump, and anyone who supports Trump. This is the garbage that they've been spewing since 2015. It's why they lost the election, because they underestimated him in 2016. It's why they would have lost the election but for cheating in 2020. It's why they lost the election in 2024. And it will continue to happen until there is some form of self-realization on the part of the liberals that identity-based politics in the manner in which they're exercising and vilifying people that have disagreements with you and calling them evil people is not a winning strategy in a representative republic. So instead of recognizing this, instead of coming to the realization that these basic issues within the Democrat Party are going to prevent you from winning elections now and anytime in the near future, certainly on the national stage, they're doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on it. To the point that they would suggest to you that their election defeats is not representative of their failures, it's representative of the failure of our nation and our government. So up until, and they did this in 2020 as well, had a little more success because of the mail harvesting and the ballot harvesting and all of these types of things. I'm not going to relitigate 2020 because I think it is almost a settled matter, very much in the same way that COVID-19 is a settled matter in terms of its origin and whatnot, despite the fact that we were all called Looney Tunes when we suggested it from the beginning. Leading up to November 5th, they used the old song and dance out of the old playbook that democracy was on the ballot, right? And I said repeatedly, democracy is not on the ballot. Democracy is the ballot. And I'll use their terminology, and that's fine. And technically, they're correct. It's a more generic way of describing representative republic. I won't go over that again as well. But I'm gonna walk through this with you, and I'm very curious about your thoughts. Should we celebrate it? Should we identify it? What should we do to these people? I've got some clips of how they're reacting now. So up until November 5th, it was all about this is Adolf Hitler. This is his last election ever. He's going to kill democracy. Nyah, nyah, nyah. And now it's all about constitutional crisis. More on that in a moment. It's 54 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, friends, so perhaps you're thinking about spicing up the kitchen a little bit. Maybe you're thinking about getting on your food game. Perhaps you want to advance your knowledge of how to cook around the kitchen, or if you are already experienced, you want to go to the place where they have the best of spices, the best of the best to put in your spice rack to make sure that you can provide your family with the best food possible. You know, you up your food game by upping your spice game. And friends, you up your spice game with Savory Spice. 2 locations. One is in Nashville, L&L Market on Charlotte Pike. Go by and see them. The other is, and I'll be honest with you, the L&L Market store is awesome. They have all the great things that they have in Franklin. The Franklin store is a little bit bigger, a little bit roomier. So I would encourage you, if you're down Franklin Way, to stop by their store there next to Gray's Pharmacy. You'll smell it before you walk through the door. It's the aroma of delicious spices from all over the globe. I mean, the staples that you obviously want, the salt and the pep and the blends and all of that, but also exotic spices to cook the dishes that your family truly wants. Plus the Spice and Easy line of products. They've got gift-giving ideas. It's all right there at Savory Spice. Go see Holly and David. They own Savory Spice. They're good Tennesseans, and they would love to see you. Once again, in Franklin next to Gray's Pharmacy, L&L Market in Nashville, Savory Spice.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories on this Monday afternoon. We're expecting a lot of rain. We'll tell you about it during the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now, President Trump threatening another round of international tariffs. This time it'll be 25% against steel and aluminum imports. Meanwhile, Stephen Portnoy tells us the latest on the federal judge pausing the federal worker buyout plan.
For the moment, the buyout plan remains in limbo. At a hearing Monday, Boston-based federal judge George O'Toole said he would leave his temporary stay in place until he decides whether to impose an injunction. Federal workers' unions have sued to block the buyout, arguing the president has no legal authority to offer payouts through September, with agency funding currently set to run out next month.
Meanwhile, Democrats kicking and screaming. Here's ABC's Joe O'Brien.
They can demonstrate, join protests outside of various federal agencies that are going to be gut by Trump and Musk, which they did last week, and we expect them to continue to do this week. They can introduce legislation to try to curtail Trump and Musk, which they've already done, and we expect this task force that Hakeem Jeffries just put forward to continue to do. But they need Republican votes ultimately to pass any of that legislation. And we haven't heard of any moderate Republicans that are looking to join Democrats right now on this.
Here in Nashville, a woman looking for answers after a terrifying incident driving over the weekend. Here's Channel 4's Jordan James.
What was meant to be a quick run to get food ended with Metro Police being called out after Michelle Crow's car window was busted. Crow says her cousin was driving her vehicle along Glen Rose Avenue Saturday night when he approached the I-24 overpass. That's when the window was shattered.
He heard a boom, and the result was my window.
Metro Police say they're unsure of who or what caused the damage, but are investigating it as vandalism. Meanwhile, Crow says her sense of safety is gone.
Crow says her cousin wasn't hurt. Repairs are going to cost around $500. Well, the director of the Mountain Home Veterans Affairs in Johnson City, Tennessee, has resigned amid an investigation into reports of an orgy on the campus of that VA. But the identity of that director has not been revealed. 3 others have also resigned. Chairman of the House Committee on Veteran Affairs, Republican Mike Bost of Illinois, telling Fox 17, the resignations are a good start, but there are 15 other female employees he says are involved in this scandal who are still working there. Have you been panic buying eggs due to the shortage and price hikes from bird flu? Alex Stone says some stores are now limiting purchases.
At Jimmy's Diner in Indianapolis, they say the price of eggs is really hurting their business. Owner Jessica Bow.
This week we were quoted $110 for 15 dozen.
At this point, she says a restaurant supplier cannot get eggs for much cheaper than they can buy at the grocery store, and it comes as more stores are limiting how many eggs customers can buy. Trader Joe's telling ABC News it will now limit each customer to 1 carton of eggs per day. Many Costco stores are also implementing limits.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Tennessee Men's Clinic. Tennessee Men's Clinic can solve those energy issues. Gentlemen, let's talk about this. Now, not every energy issue, but under certain circumstances, like, for example, at the Tennessee Men's Clinic, Evan Bass and his team of urologists will tell you that if you come in and you've had energy problems and you don't know how they're manifesting themselves, you're gonna, they'll gonna examine you. They're gonna put you through your paces. They're going to take a little blood. They're gonna see what your blood work's doing, and it might be that you're not getting enough sleep. It might be that there's some other thing that is creating an energy crisis in your body, or it could be, gentlemen, T levels. And if this is the case, it is so solvable. It is so easy. From the perspective of Tennessee Men's Clinic to find one of their programs that's right for you. And if this has begun to manifest itself in intimacy or bedroom activities, guys, we need to get this solved jiffy quick, and you can do so with a telephone call. It is discreet, they are professional, and it works. TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, or call one of their 2 locations today, one in Franklin, the other in Midtown. Here's the number, 615-208-9090, 208-9090 for Tennessee Men's Clinic.
I don't see any crashes on the interstates, but we do have the usual tap and go going on. Eastbound 24 down to about Bell Road. And then as you're going eastbound 440 to get to 40 or 24. South leg of the loop going eastbound, that's pretty heavy. So is the westbound loop heading up north of downtown there where 65 and 24 meet. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. Hour number 2 starts right now. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy, Chris Weber, Ken Weaver, and you. Thank you for being around. 3 of us get paid. You do not. And that means you're the most important component.
Wait, you guys get paid?
Uh-oh. All right, so 2 of us get paid, 2 do not. And the 2 that do not are the most important components. Because
I like firm handshakes and pats on the back.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Ken, for everything you do in the newsroom.
You're welcome.
See, he just lost $1 an hour right there.
He asked for it.
Every compliment.
Yeah.
Man, oh, man. Speaking of bucks, Buc-ee's,
Oh, yeah, what about it?
they pay better than radio. Have y'all seen what Buc-ee's pays?
Yeah, those signs are every time I stop and I see one of those signs, I thought, I might have to work at Buc-ee's.
I tell you what, I understand that maybe it's a 20. Look, I managed customer service at a 24-hour outfit.
Yeah.
At the old Waffle House.
Yes.
Back in the day when Waffle House was the real deal before they started selling biscuits. Still pisses me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I've had a potty mouth today. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean to do that. But yeah, it still ticks me off. But I am. But have you seen what like a manager of a Buc-ee's makes?
Yeah, it's 6 figures, right?
Oh, it's like well into this, like $160,000 a year.
Ooh.
Well, I'm going over there.
Brush up my resume.
They're building one down in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, Ken. You would never have to even leave town.
I wouldn't. I bet you they wouldn't make me shave my beard either.
24 would be a distant. Well, I don't know about that, Ken. You got.
You'd have to stay away from the brisket.
Yeah, brisket on the board. I mean,
they'd probably stick me outside and call me the prospector.
Put on one of those little goatee condoms.
Yeah, and make me say
the prospector.
Welcome to Buc-ee's.
Get you a live donkey.
A miniature one. I'd have to ride around on a miniature donkey outside the Buc-ee's. I'd do it for $100,000.
Suddenly, the owner of Buc-ee's shows up and said, "What? Our mascot is a beaver. What is this idiot?
Who hired this guy?
Who hired this guy?
Well, his name is Weaver.
Well, he just showed up one day and said he was the new mascot.
Weaver the Beaver.
He's been wrestling people out back.
By the way, I remembered the best band name in my book.
Yeah, what was it?
This was born. So we decided that my shirt was Oxblood, and that's a good name for a band.
Yeah.
See, you miss an hour, you miss a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So there was a new legit news story. This was in Birmingham, Alabama. Ken, you'll appreciate this. This was a bit born from a news person, which I know y'all love, right? When we turn your news items into radio bits.
Yeah.
But
we love that.
This was a legitimate news story where the mayor of Orange Beach, Alabama, announced several years ago that they were making the city council had passed an ordinance making it illegal to dig holes bigger than a certain size on the beach.
All right.
And when asked why, he said because during spring break, the teenage spring breakers were digging holes on the beach, getting in them, and having relations in the holes. and that you can take that crap on down to Panama City or Pensacola, but we're not putting up with any of that in Orange Beach, Alabama. And I decided then and there that Orange Beach Sex Hole is the best name for a band that ever. I mean, an Ox Blood is opening up for Orange Beach Sex Hole.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And before you know it, we'll have Pantera on the stage. So there you go. That's a legit story. And they banned they banned because the kids were digging the holes. And
I'm going to Google that term.
Did they really?
They banned them.
Gosh. We got to stop digging these holes here on this here beach.
Shouldn't have Googled that. Wasn't that? IT, let's wipe that one for the record.
I could have told you that was
blocked you, brother Chris.
It's going to end badly.
As soon as I hit enter, I saw a word pop up that I didn't mean to see.
I'm pretty sure that your algorithm's going to focus on the last two words and not the first two words.
Glad I'm not logged into this machine.
Mayor, what do you think those kids are doing in them holes
I don't know,
on the beach?
We're going to find out. Weaver, get your beach police down there. I want you to look into them holes.
Don't leave any hole unlooked upon. I hate to break it to them, but the stopping the holes ain't going to stop what they were doing in the holes.
It didn't.
Yeah,
no.
yeah. They don't need to dig holes.
No. It's like banning alcohol on the beach.
Yeah.
They did that too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, they just told the adults, y'all are going to have to deal with it because we're banned during spring break. And I think I think I have the details right, that alcohol was permitted on the beach, but during spring break week, they did not permit alcohol on the beach at all.
Ooh. Wow.
Which obviously a lot of adults were like, what the heck? And they were like, well, you just need to start filling in holes. And
sure are a lot of people here with big coffee cups.
Big Yeti cups.
Yep.
I dare y'all to ask me to take a sip out of my Yeti cup. It's the last time you'll ask. Because that's going to taste like pure gasoline.
Uh-huh.
Right there. If I have to sit here on this beach looking at these people, I'm going to have to drink a lot. I mean, y'all like the beach?
I love the beach.
I do. I love it.
All right, y'all are beach fans?
Oh, yeah. I'll sit out on the beach all day.
I can't.
Love it.
I get so antsy. I just get so crazy.
Well,
I don't know why. I can't calm down. You know what I can do, though?
What's that?
I can drink on the beach.
Yeah.
Well, I do that, too. That's part of it.
Well, I don't, boys. All that's in my big Yeti cup is ice cold water.
Oh, okay. Okay, Ken. The free country. You just, Ken tells the truth when he tells the news.
That's pretty every half hour.
That's right.
That's the only time Ken Weaver tells the truth.
You get the truth over there. Okay, let's get back to some of the truth that I was spewing before the break. So here's what the Democrats have done, and it's a product of their own. And I'm curious if you're interested, chiming in via the super text line. You can also call us. I love taking telephone calls, 615-737-9986. So open up the phone lines on the subject. So the left decided that they would dismiss anyone that disagreed with them on virtually any topic. And they create these identity political structures by which you have to fall in line. And a lot of times these things have gotten where they get to loggerheads against one another, where you have two identity groups that are butting heads against one another within the Democrat circles, and they have to manage those and work those out, and it creates schisms within the system. But they have essentially dismissed all of you and me, those of us that believe that less government is better, those of us that believe in the concepts of freedom and liberty, that in order to protect those concepts, you have to protect our ability to be responsible for ourselves, come good or bad, without interference from the federal government or even the state, or in some circumstances, local communities. But they have determined that you are just so dumb or so racist or so bigoted that if you just got a little less racist or a little less dumb, you would agree with them, that big government is the way to go. They can't fathom the idea that you wouldn't agree with this, that it is not an appropriate expenditure of our money, that government doesn't do anything as well as the private sector. And so they told us prior to November that democracy hung in the balance. And over the last really 8 years, since 2016, they have become more and more and more desperate. And as they get more and more and more desperate, so does the language. So originally it was, well, Donald Trump doesn't really believe in the Constitution, right? Yeah, well, and I could go back to 2015, and I won't belabor the point, where they initially, said that Donald Trump was a carnival barker and that Donald Trump was a circus clown and that Donald Trump wasn't ever going to run for president. And then when he started running, it's just performative. He's just trying to advance his Apprentice show. And then he stayed in the race and he started debating. It's a clown show. He'll be gone before you know it. And then eventually started winning primaries and started winning. And before you knew it, they loved it. Remember in 2016, the media loved Donald Trump because they never lived in a world where he was going to beat Hillary Clinton. Never. Until he did. And that's when he became the threat. He was never a threat until he won. And from that moment in November of 2016 till this day, February the 10th, 2025, he has been target number one for the Democrats, and they cannot defeat him. They've gotten close, and they've won their battles, had to cheat to do it, but they can't win the war against him. Why? Why is that? The most vilified human being on planet Earth is more popular in the United States of America than he's ever been. Why do you think that is? Because the more desperate the Democrats become, the more their language changes, the more outlandish some of their positions become, the more clearly we see who the sane ones are, and by extension, who the insane ones are. Credit where due, Scott Jennings said this on CNN. He's absolutely correct. We played it for you last week, that Donald Trump he's learned the Democrats. The Democrats haven't changed. Donald Trump, perhaps during his first term, did not quite understand how to deal with them, the political left. And so they got in their dings, and he had to suffer through the stupid Russian collusion hoax. And then in the aftermath of that, and after they swiped the presidency away, he had to suffer through the nonsense of impeachment and all of these types of things during and after his presidency. And then the lawfare that came along with it, because they keep doubling and tripling and quadrupling down. But as that has happened, Donald Trump has learned how to combat them and how to win. And so he looks at some of these more outlandish and ridiculous positions that the political left is taking on any number of issues, and he recognizes all I have to do is take the natural common sense position on this issue. And they have, as a byproduct of their own making, put themselves in a corner where anything that Donald Trump takes a position on, they're going to take the opposite position. Every time. Every time. Donald Trump could tell you that he likes ice cream and puppies, and the Democrat Party would come out anti-ice cream and anti-puppy. They don't know anything else. They don't have any other position. Tell me what the Democrats stand for. I'll wait. I mean, honest question. What do the Democrats stand for? I know very well what they're against, anything that Trump is for. Tell me what they stand for. The people? Donald Trump is the president of the people. Donald Trump got more support from unions than any Republican president in my lifetime last election cycle. But we darn sure know what they stand against, and that's Trump, which is why their basic political platform is the same garbage that lost them the election. And what they are doing now is the same garbage that lost them the election. I have examples, and I'm going to share them with you in just a moment. So they went from democracy hangs in the balance, and democracy is on the ballot, and this is the last election of our lifetimes if Trump wins, to what now? We are in here's the new phraseology, constitutional crisis. Oh, everything that Donald Trump does is a constitutional crisis. Everything. If Donald Trump can use a pen to sign an executive order, and that executive order automatically becomes a constitutional crisis in the minds of Democrats, ask yourself how much these jerks believe in the Constitution of the United States. They're saying a heck of a lot more about themselves and their belief in our form of a representative republic than they are about Donald Trump. More on this in a moment and some of the actual language being used on the political left coming up right after this. It's 21 after the hour on Super Talk. If you want to look good and feel better about yourself in 2025, let me tell you, friends, this is the year that you can get it done with PAI Medical. They are the We Grow Hair folks. We Grow Hair can help you grow your hair back through a variety of platforms and procedures. Now, look, I know I have a full head of hair, and if you've watched me on television for any length of time, you know it too. I've got the locks for Trump, 345 going and strong. But I went to We Grow Hair about a year ago, and I said, listen, folks, just tell me I'm going to keep it. That's all I need to know. And they looked over. They said, you know what, Matt? You've got a little bit of thinning going on the crown of your head. Maybe you could benefit from our 45-minute laser treatment. It's a non-invasive treatment that helps grow thicker and fuller hair. It's FDA approved. And I said, absolutely, yes. I went through the procedure, and now I don't have to worry about hair loss. But if you are along the road, they have the ARTIS robotic FUE procedure, the multi-unit hair grafting procedure, both designed, guaranteed results to get you back into the hair game, as they say. Go to WeGrowHair.com. That's WeGrowHair.com or 615-376-6010. 376-6010. Tell them I sent you to PAI Medical. We Grow Hair.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Dozens of people killed in a bus crash. Details coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Mr. Ken Weaver. 26 minutes after the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hope that afternoon's going well so far. You know, I ask of you a few simple things because we cost you no money here at the Matt Murphy Radio Show. I don't know if Mandis or Hand or Benson, I don't know what they're charging, but we charge absolutely nothing to listen to the radio show. And you can do so by dialing us up, 99.7 FM. Find us on the app. Or I would love it if you went over to Talk TV. That side of things is up and running. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. And oh, by the way, like and subscribe us. It costs you. You know what? I've been told. You know what it costs, Ken Weaver?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. That's right.
I heard it just doubled in price, though, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, inflation.
Yep.
You know.
It happens.
So double or nothing is still nothing. Just hit it. Like, subscribe, whatever, thumbs up, whatever you do it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
And we got a lot of folks that watch on the television side of things, and I know that because they're all telling me that this isn't actually ox blood. That's the biggest controversy that we've created over the course of the first hour and a half of the show.
Is that what people are latching on to?
Uh-huh. That's the one, right? Not Orange Beach sex hole. I was really hoping we'd make that go with that.
Yeah.
No, it's that. Hold on. I think
Ox blood.
Ox blood is a reddish-brown leather color.
Ooh, fancy.
I.e. ox blood shoe polish. Well, you see my shirt? I think I'm in the category there. Anyway, so back to the liberals. So they are now claiming, this is their big thing, the constitutional crisis, right? It's a constitutional crisis, guys. What exactly are they talking about? And I know that they don't know because they refuse to respond to me. I am as clear as an unmuddied lake where I stand on this. I am as open as can be. I'm as open as a Buc-ee's, right? I mean, 24 hours a day. I'm ready to go. I'm as open as a Waffle House. I want the political left to come on and explain to me what they mean. And I can't get any takers for the life of me. What sort of constitutional crisis do you believe that we're in? Nothing has changed here. If a president of the United States of America signs an executive order that the Congress believes extends beyond his executive branch power, the remedy is the third branch of government and always has been. Since 1789, the judicial branch is there and always has been as a check and a balance against the power of the executive branch and the power of the congressional or legislative branch. Where is the constitutional crisis again? If you take umbrage with something the president is doing, you have remedy and always have had remedy. The real constitutional crisis is actually, frankly, the Democrats gumming up the court system with nonsense lawfare at every turn in order to attempt to prevent this duly elected president of the United States of America from doing the job that the American people sent him to Washington, D.C. to do. If you want to talk about a constitutional crisis, it's the idea that the minority party in both houses of Congress insist on gumming the courts up so they can't do their constitutional duty with these. They're acting like, and folks, I'm not saying this just to lash out. It's true. It's an apt analogy. You ever seen one of these rich, spoiled kids from Belmead, or I shouldn't mention Belmead. Franklin. I shouldn't mention Franklin. But you know what I'm talking about. Have you ever seen some of these rich, spoiled kids that have obviously gotten what they want, and they come with an embedded lifestyle that they've come to expect? You know, whether it's, the teenagers with the nice little cars that they drive around in. And I'm not knocking it, folks. By the way, if you've worked hard for your money and you're well-to-do and you want to, show some love to your children by giving them nice clothes or nice cars, I'm not knocking that. I'm just using it as an example. I'm picking on you here. But these take some of that away from the spoiled, entitled, rich kids. Better example. Your kid is accustomed to getting an hour of Xbox or PlayStation a day. Take that away and see what happens. That's the Democrats right now. That's the way they're acting. It's 31 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Looks like it's going to be a messy commute tomorrow. We'll tell you about it during the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. In Guatemala, the Army is assisting in the response to a deadly bus crash that took at least 51 lives. Images show this bus upside down, partially submerged in murky water after plunging from a bridge. Here's Marcus Moore.
According to the Reuters news agency, this bus plummeted about 65 feet down into that ravine, driving off the Belize Bridge in Guatemala. And this is a very busy bus route. The president has declared several days of national mourning and has called on the military to assist in the response to this crash.
Earlier today in Tel Aviv, families of hostages were joined by hundreds of Israelis protesting after Hamas announced it's going to stop releasing hostages until further notice, claiming Israeli violations of the ceasefire agreement. Here in Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro police posting surveillance video and hope someone can identify the 3 hoodie and dark clothes wearing burglars smashing out windows, stealing things out of 39 vehicles in a 2-hour period yesterday morning. These vehicles parked outside 4 hotels off the Medical Center Parkway, Embassy Suites, Courtyard by Marriott, Hilton Garden Inn, and Vintage at the Avenue. Governor Bill Lee gives the annual State of the State address tonight. Channel 4's Stacey Cameron says it is titled Tennessee Innovates.
In those remarks, the governor will paint the picture that over the past 6 years, his administration has recruited more than $40 billion in capital investments here in Tennessee, creating more than 234,000 jobs. Building on that success, he'll lay out his budget for the new fiscal year, highlighting new spending in education, infrastructure, and public health and safety. But the governor's also going to argue that Tennessee needs to innovate, to shrink the government, make it more efficient, develop more nuclear energy, and find an affordable housing plan as the state continues to grow.
That's set for 6 o'clock tonight, and that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Well, the only thing I see is a disabled vehicle is blocking the southbound exit ramp and the right shoulder, Briley Parkway over there at 2 Rivers. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So February is a month where we're thinking about our loved ones, right? I mean, it is the month for lovers, as they say, with Valentine's Day right around the corner. What have you done? I mean, it's here, man. It's here. Valentine's Day is here. Now, I don't want you to be one of these schlubs in line on Valentine's Day at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the grocery store picking up flowers. Now, it's better than nothing, man. But what if I told you there's a way for you to right now buy that home run gift that she's going to be talking about for the next 10 years, and you don't have to buy flowers because they'll provide flowers. Fresh flowers, as a matter of fact, from Jenny's Florist. And you don't have to worry about dinner because they'll give you a gift card for dinner for two at Fancy Pants Restaurant. Or you don't have to worry about chocolates because they'll give you that too. And it's just a $399 purchase or up at Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds wants you to get that home run gift for Valentine's Day. Man, there's time. They have 2 locations, convenient to anywhere within the sound of my voice. One's in Green Hills, the other in Cool Springs. Guys, all you have to do is walk into their showroom, and find one of their incredible sales associates and say, Murphy told me to come and that you'd take care of me. I want the Valentine's Day special. Now, quantities are limited, and you need to see store for details. But if they have one left, they're going to give it to you at Genesis Diamonds, and you will be the home run. I mean, it'll be the home run that she'll be talking about for years to come. Genesis Diamonds, once again, 2 locations, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Tell them I sent you, and happy Valentine's Day. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in, and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice. Breaking news. Hey, did I ever ask you to put the breaking news horn on the board?
There's a horn?
Yeah, it's like. Yeah, like that.
Oh, that. Yeah, I don't know if I did.
Did you?
I don't know.
And we need it.
I got this.
Oh, that sounds too good.
Yeah.
We're trying to go low profile. We're trying to lower the standards of this afternoon radio show with I had one in the old midday show that was just. That's what I'm looking.
Oh yeah.
I can do it myself.
I've got it. I'm somewhere. I'd have to find it.
I have breaking news.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, you found it. There is a vote going on right now in the United States Senate regarding Tulsi Gabbard.
Mm-hmm.
Former Democrat Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard facing yet another test right now as the Senate votes whether to advance her nomination to a final floor vote. She has to get 50 votes at least in order to advance to that final confirmation vote. The cloture vote, it's called, is happening as we speak. I went over to see if anybody was covering it, and I can't find C-SPAN, and nobody else is covering it. I tried that on monitor number 1, so I can pull it up on the old CPU if I need to. But that said, if the cloture vote passes, there will be 30 hours of debate. This is how the rules go, right? You vote for cloture, and then you get 30 hours of debate on the Senate floor max. Typically, these are not used. The maximum is not used, but the Democrats are acting like spoiled children, like we mentioned just a moment ago. And so now they are insisting on the full 30 hours, meaning that the final vote on Tulsi Gabbard's nomination to be the director of national intelligence is set to happen Wednesday, it is believed. And it is widely expected that whatever vote happens on this cloture will be the same vote that happens after the 30 hours of debate. While she was a Democrat at one time, no Democrats are expected to vote in her favor. It sets her up for that confirmation vote Wednesday. She is she, Kash Patel, and RFK Jr. are the last three, quote-unquote, controversial nominees advancing to the full floor of the Senate to be confirmed in Donald J. Trump's cabinet. So that is ongoing as we speak. We'll keep you up to date with where the vote is. She got Susan Collins in committee, and Susan Collins was an iffy vote. J.D. Vance kind of whipped the votes. Vice President J.D. Vance whipped the votes before going over to Paris a couple of days ago. And I mentioned to Weber during the break, Senator Susan Collins looks like somebody. And I initially said, Weaver, that it was Elliott Gould.
Susan Collins?
Yeah, Senator Susan Collins from Maine. I think her hair is reminiscent of Elliott Gould a la, MASH days, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or he was in a couple of different things. Elliott Gould from, you kids will know him from that Friends show. He was
Ross and
Rachel's dad, right?
Not Rachel.
No, not Rachel.
Whatever Ross's sister was. Whatever her name was. Monica.
Monica, that's it, yeah.
He's their father.
Mm-hmm, their dad. So, yeah, it's somewhere, but I think maybe it's more Walter Matthau. Like if Walter Matthau was in drag.
That's a scary thought.
Then you would have Senator Susan Collins. Anyway, I hope she's not
in the internet. See what they come up with.
I hope she's not. I hope she's not listening to our radio show. It might hurt Tulsi Gabbard's chances.
I think you're safe.
Moron in Nashville said so and so and such.
She's got one of her earbuds in her left ear listening to us. Well, that's it.
I was on the fence, but now I'm
not anymore. They're saying I look like Walter Matthau.
I bet. Yeah, Susan Collins looks like she would neigh.
Good grief!
I'm in a sassy mood. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Let's see, Susan Collins' hair. Let's look this up.
Is that store-bought, you think?
Well, they're not showing any pictures of it. They just sent me to where her home is. Or Susan Collins' home of hair. Does she own a business?
What?
Where's this at?
She's a proprietor of fine wigs and hairpieces.
I just want to spend a few minutes listening to Ken react to what he's seeing on the internet, which is, I think, far more entertaining than anything I've done so far.
Yeah, it says the Susan Collins home of hair.
Oh, well, there. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe she does. I mean, it might be a piece that she's wearing. I don't know.
I guess I'm going to have to put Congresswoman Susan Collins' hair.
Yeah, maybe you have to just define a little further.
Hey, we're having too much fun today, dude.
0706 says, you mean Magnum P.I.? No, I don't mean Magnum P.I. I mean Walter Matthau.
Yeah, it looks more like Walter Matthau than Elliott Gould, because Elliott Gould had curly hair.
Yeah, I don't think it's curly enough for Elliott
Susan's got wavy hair.
9365 says, a fat Lily Tomlin. Okay.
I just got a phone call from David. I'll give him credit for this, and I think he may be onto something. You put Sir Ian McKellen in a wig and a pair of glasses, and he's right.
That's tip top. Yeah, that's David. There you go. Smartest listening audience on planet Earth. I was going to our phone call about a constitutional crisis, and they hung up. So I guess we wasted too much time. I apologize for the time waster. My bad. New segment, Surfing the Net with Weaver. Actually, it would be fabulous. Just name something random that Ken has to look up and describe on Google on the DuckDuckGo machine. It would be absolutely fabulous. I tell you what,
Susan Collins, she's not fat, though. I don't know how she could look like a fat Lily Tomlin.
I think that's more of a reflection that Lily Tomlin's kind of
Oh, I got you.
Thinner. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen Susan Collins lately. I saw a picture of her in this story about how she voted for Tulsi Gabbard, and it made me think of, the nature of the hair. I thought her hair was kind of wavy. Maybe it was a permanent.
It's wavy.
Okay. Well,
it is wavy.
Well, there you go.
At least in this picture I'm looking at.
Ian McClellan.
McKellen.
McKellen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That Lord of the Rings guy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Trilogy that I've never seen.
Yeah.
It's
all right. A little long.
I was hoping to get a better reaction. Normally I get a better reaction when I tell people I've never seen that trilogy.
I can't say that I've seen all three of them.
Mm.
I know I saw the first one, and I thought, boy, that's a good movie, but it was long. And then I thought, well, there's 2 more of them?
Jeez, Benelli, are all of them this long?
I don't have that many lives.
You shall not pass. Yeah. Isn't that part of it?
I think so.
Isn't that some of it? That's all I know. You shall not. All I know is that kids, after that movie, teachers on their tests were putting the little wizard on the end of the test and saying, you shall not pass when they didn't do well on a math test.
And the kids were flunking on purpose just to get that sticker.
Just to get the little sticker, yeah. Sure. So here's the way liberals are reacting nowadays to, and by the way, call us back. I apologize for having too much fun. 615-737-9986. Here's Trump derangement syndrome morons on The View.
Yes. What about you, Anna?
Okay, well, I don't do sports. I don't do football, so I wasn't watching the game. But listen, I think today Donald Trump is going to sign an executive order banning black people from halftime. Because you remember last week we were talking about whether...
All right, remember, she said she didn't watch the game.
The NFL was capitulating to Trump by removing the term "end racism" from the end zone.
Oh, is that what happened? They capitulated to Trump to remove that? I thought that they had solved racism through the NFL because they had the little sign that said "end racism." They had it on the back of their helmets, too.
Yeah. Boy, did they not capitulate to Trump. When I saw Samuel L. Jackson dressed as a black Uncle Sam, Kendrick Lamar. Yeah.
You know, when I saw, and honestly, they think they're demonstrating how woke and how modern they are. They're actually demonstrating their inability to act in any measure of a colorblind fashion. When I saw Samuel L. Jackson appear at the halftime show, you know what I thought? Oh, there's Samuel L. Jackson dressed as Uncle Sam. Oh, I get it. Uncle Sam. Samuel L. Jackson. Apparently what this Anna chick saw on The View was black Uncle Sam. Huh. See, I thought Uncle Sam was a character that could be black or white. I understand he was originally a white dude with a white goatee, but he doesn't have to be.
Who then had like an entire formation of all black people making a U.S. flag. Listen, this much I know. All the black people on my feed were like, ooh, this is blackity black black.
So it wasn't just black, and it wasn't just blackity black. It was blackity black black. Okay.
And all the racists who somehow get in, man, were they hopping mad. So if the racists are mad, I am happy as a clam.
All right, so the indication from whatever her name is on The View, I oftentimes forget. She used to pretend to be a Republican, doesn't anymore. Trump broke her, is that if you did not care, this is what she just said, that if you did not care for the Kendrick Lamar halftime show, then you're racist. You're a racist, right? That's the only possible explanation. That everybody else, all the black people were like, boy, oh boy, this is, quote, blackity black black. And all the racists didn't like it. So there's no other option, according to Anna Navarro. There's no other possibility. It cannot be a possibility that you just don't care for Kendrick Lamar. Couldn't be the possibility that you like Drake more than Kendrick Lamar, which is apparently a thing. You either have to like one or the other. I didn't know that until like right now. I've never heard of I've heard of the guy. I take that back. I do not know his music. Could not name a song of his on a bet. I'm 51 years old, and I'm like an 81-year-old when it comes to music. I lost my ability. All popular music after the year 2000, gone. I'm gone. I have nothing for you. Every once in a while, something will click in my head, but other than that, I got nothing. Anna Navarro says, if I don't care for Kendrick Lamar's show, then I am racist. Oh, by the way, for what I watched of it, and I'm not saying I'm better. Well, actually, I am. I am better than Anna Navarro. I take that back. I'm much better. You are too. Not once did it occur to me that all of those performers were black. I mean, obviously, I noticed that most of them were black because they were on my screen. It did not once occur to me, oh, all of these people are black. Not once. Non-racist people don't think that way. Speaking of racist people,
I'm going to try my best not to preach.
Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you, because every day that we show up in D.C., we show up for you.
That's Representative Jasmine Crockett, Democrat, Texas, 30th District. We got more of her coming up in just a moment. Right now, it's Clint's turn. What's on your mind, Clint?
Hey, how y'all doing?
I'm doing well, Clint. I hope you are.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about something. I'm pretty sure y'all are way more vetted in the Constitution than I am. I get all my news from y'all because I listen to y'all every day. So, is there not anything that the president or Congress can do to kind of push through these votes for, like, these three candidates that are getting – because, I mean, it's like, why, I've never seen anybody get held up if the president wanted to appoint some people. Like, nobody held Joe Biden up when he was appointing his people. So why are we getting held up so we can't get on with our government? I mean, how can they just hold that up like that?
Actually, I think the president, I was trying to look it up while you were talking, Clint. I think the president is a bit ahead of schedule in terms of his nomination process, although the votes are a lot closer. I'll tell you what I'll do. It's a good question, and I want to give it a good answer. I will give it an answer right after the break. So just keep listening, Clint, and I will answer your question right after we go to this quick timeout. I have the answer for you, and it's maybe I think the process is going as quickly as it's possibly going to go because all of the Democrats have decided they don't care not all of them. Most of the Democrats have decided they don't care who the nomination is. They're just going to vote anti-Trump in their votes. But it's going quicker than you might expect. 53 after the hour on Super Talk. You know, you don't have to live with sleep apnea. And if you have sleep apnea, or maybe you don't know, but you do know you snore, the possibility exists that you have sleep apnea if you snore. I mean, it's a pretty strong possibility. Because sadly, snoring and sleep apnea, they just go hand in hand. So if you're the partner of someone who snores a lot, if you've noticed that they stop breathing on occasion in the night, you know, the snoring stops and then it just starts really quickly. These are examples of sleep apnea that could be a danger to your health. And obviously, it's an impediment to your relationship because your significant other can't sleep. So let's go to the Dr. Poss and Dr. McLaughlin Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Let's go ahead and make the call that so many others have made. There are two locations, one's in Brentwood, the other in Murfreesboro. And in those two locations, they're in network for most insurance companies in the state of Tennessee, which is a good thing too. They personalize and custom fit an FDA-approved oral appliance that holds your jaw forward, that helps you breathe better. It is an alternative to CPAP. It is an alternative to all of the rest of the products that prevent sleep apnea that works better, in my opinion. I have one, and I wear it, and I love it, and you will too. Go to drposs.com. That's drposs.com for more information about the incredible oral device with the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in, and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
It doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
Democrats bashing Governor Lee's State of the Union address, and he hasn't even given it yet. Details at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
And not even for like a month, right? I mean, March 4th, I think, is the date for that thing.
No, he gives it tonight.
Oh, you're talking about Lee's? Oh.
Yeah, Governor Lee.
Oh, I thought I misheard. I thought we were talking about Trump, who is delivering. It's not officially a State of the Union. It's a
State of the State. Kind of the budget.
Well, right. That's Lee's.
Yeah.
Trump is giving an address to the nation on March 4th.
Right.
I misheard you. I apologize.
Well,
but
they'll come out against that, too.
Yeah, they'll scratch. I assumed they were yelling about Trump. They'll yell about Bill Lee as well. I have a little inside skinny onto what Bill Lee might be talking about tonight.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. So I'll get into that next hour on the show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I haven't forgotten about Ms. Jasmine Crockett. She's inciting violence, which I thought was bad, but apparently Trump's in office now, so that's okay. That's all to come. We're halfway home. Halftime, ladies and gents. Here's Ken Weaver with the Halftime Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Going to be a messy commute tomorrow morning. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Democrats in Tennessee already bashing Governor Bill Lee's State of the State address an hour before it's delivered. This is Nashville State Rep John Ray Clemens on Channel 4.
In Tennessee, we've seen this firsthand. Culture war distractions, book bans, attacks on educators, librarians, and doctors, and policies that restrict health care options for our women and families. None of it helps you pay your bills, put food on your table, reduce traffic congestion, or send your kids to a great public school.
The governor gives the State of the State address in an hour, and it is entitled Tennessee Innovates. A coalition of attorneys general from 22 states has won a temporary stay over proposed Trump administration cuts to how medical research grants are funded by the National Institutes of Health. A memo from the agency says the proposals could save more than $4 billion a year by capping the amount of funding to hospitals and universities for what is called indirect cost at 15%, down from an average of around 27 to 28%. And a federal judge extending the pause on President Trump's deadline for federal workers to accept a buyout, Trump offering to pay them until September if they accept, but federal workers union argue a president doesn't have that authority. Back here in Nashville, Michelle Crow tells Channel 4 her car window shattered during what was supposed to be a quick run to get food on Saturday in Nashville. Her cousin was driving and was not hurt. She says police are calling it an act of vandalism for now.
I've only had the car a year and a half. And, you have to watch out for people driving around you. And now you got to worry about stuff coming in at you. It's coming to the Cowboys and Indians days. Everybody going to have to take care of themselves, not enough police to do it.
Crow estimates the damage to fix her car window is going to be about $500. Have you been panic buying eggs?
With social media lighting up showing some people overbuying eggs and grabbing up everything a store has to offer, kind of like toilet paper during the pandemic, now stores including Trader Joe's are implementing limits. Trader Joe's telling ABC News it will limit customers to 1 carton of eggs per day, no more filling up a shopping cart with eggs. Costco stores are also beginning to limit egg purchases as more Costco customers are complaining eggs are sold out within a few minutes of a store opening.
Super Bowl 59 ads, a mix of old and new. Jim Ryan says the commercials are what people are talking about more so than the lopsided game itself.
From Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal in a 30-second mayonnaise ad to a 15-second spot featuring Bill Murray imploring,
I don't think I need professional help, but a skilled amateur.
Advertisers await the Nielsen results on audience. Super Bowl 58 set a record for viewership last year, but the game went to overtime. The Eagles had Super Bowl 59 wrapped up at halftime, so it's likely that a lot of viewers tuned out.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Brentwood got a vehicle fire blocking the right 2 lanes, 65 northbound, approaching Old Hickory Boulevard. And in Belmont, you got a crash blocking the right shoulder, 65 northbound at Wedgwood. And in Smyrna, you got a stalled vehicle blocking the left lane, 24 westbound at Sam Ridley Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Thank you for being around. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative of it. Just after 5 o'clock, 5:07 to be precise. My name is Matt Murphy. They allow me to host this little soiree from 3 until 7 on a daily basis, Monday through Friday at least. Behind the glass, executive producing the broadcast is Chris Weber. Behind that glass and providing news updates twice an hour when it breaks is Ken Weaver, and generally speaking, being the good guy of the group. And we appreciate him for that as well. And we thank you, each and every one of you, for being out there. And your participation is encouraged. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. 9986, either via phone call or super text. Those are two great ways to contact the show. You can also hit me up directly on social media platforms. I'm on. I'm not going to say I'm everywhere. I'm on the Instagram, but not a lot. Most of the time, when you see something happening on Instagram, that means I've put something up on Facebook, and it just translates over there. I am on the Facebook in two capacities. One, my personal page has like 5,000 people on it, and I've never killed it. So if you find Matt Murphy, just go to Matt Murphy Show, and I duplicate everything that's going on there. Is that confusing enough? Also, if you really want to find me, where I live and breathe, my zone is the cesspool, the god-awful, non-human place that is the Twitter machine, also known as X. Find me at Matt Murphy Show. That's at Matt Murphy Show. If you think that I am a little too much on this radio show, check me out on Twitter. You'll love me over there. At Matt Murphy Show. You can find a lot of these clips that I am playing for you this hour regarding liberal anxiety and the absolute meltdown on the part of the political left. You can find the source material there on the X machine by following us at Matt Murphy Show. You can also watch the show if you so desire. Talk TV is up and running. Like and subscribe. Thank you to U.S. Pest for being our premier sponsor of our hourly broadcasts. On the television side of things, we appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. So we were discussing the absolute meltdown that liberals have found themselves in the midst of in the aftermath of Donald Trump winning the election. And they have not in any way accepted the idea that Donald Trump is legitimate. They can't really question his legitimacy because he won in those margins, every battleground state. I mean, obviously you remember the election just as I do. We were there. We saw it together. And so they've decided that his actions amount to whatever action he takes in the White House amounts to a constitutional crisis. That's the new phraseology. Have you noticed how the lemmings on the left, the leftist lemmings, they take up the language that the other guy uses and they just run with it? So if one says it, they all say it. I don't think there are memos going around. I just think that they can't think for themselves. And so when, somebody said, "Oh, democracy's on the ballot. Democracy's on the ballot. He's Hitler. He's Hitler. He's Hitler. He's Hitler. He's Hitler." I mean, just on and on it goes. And now it's a constitutional crisis. And no one, and I don't mean to belabor it, but I'm just fascinated because no one is willing to explain what that means to me. How exactly is this a constitutional crisis in as much as the Constitution has remedy for anything and everything that the President of the United States might do? Even if you believed what you were saying, which I don't think you do, that finding waste where it exists, that empowering Elon Musk through an agency of the government, and yes, it is a legitimate agency of the government. We went over this on Friday. It was pretty fascinating the way that they did it. They found an agency of the government that Barack Obama created that had been basically gutted or emptied out during the Trump and then Biden administrations. And they said, oh, well, this still exists. There's still office chairs in here. They've still got staplers in here. Let's just use this office and rename it. And it's exactly what they did. And they renamed it the Department of Government Efficiency. It is a constitutionally based, congressionally passed executive agency of government. No matter what the left might tell you. Secondarily, they tell us that all of this waste, fraud, and abuse hunt is designed to destroy the underpinnings and the foundation of government. And that creates in and of itself the constitutional crisis. Now, I'm speaking off the cuff here because I really don't genuinely understand what they're talking about. And because they will not respond to a common sense discussion about this, I can only guess what they're discussing. So I suppose they believe that Donald Trump is acting, his executive orders, for example, those executive orders do not have the power and the weight of law, and that those executive orders extend beyond his duties as president of the United States of America. Well, frankly, that's a debatable point, and that's fine. How exactly does that become a constitutional crisis? Even if I'm sitting in front of a Democrat, a leftist, but I repeat myself, or a member of the media, and I continue to repeat myself. So I'm sitting in front of them, and they say, well, Donald Trump can't sign an executive order that bans men in female sports. that isn't permissible under the Constitution. And I say, well, yes, it is. It's a part of his duties as the chief executive officer, blah, blah, blah. And they say, no, it isn't. That's a congressional role. That's a congressional disagreement. Where do we go to resolve disagreements about the function of government? Oh, there's a third branch. It's called the judicial branch. And we utilize the judicial branch to make these types of decisions. And you push that up, and eventually it gets to the United States Supreme Court. And they make the decision. How about that? And there are checks and balances against the judicial branch as well. It's amazing the system that was devised. Our Constitution's pretty amazing. It really is. It has lived beyond what we typically believe the natural cycle of democracy would exist. I mean, it's a fascinating document. I believe in it. The liberals don't. Now, these same people that did not believe that we were, and they never talked about a constitutional crisis when it was obvious to everyone involved that Joe Biden was absolutely out of his ever-loving mind. And that someone, is it not the height of irony? I mean, you have to laugh to keep from crying. I am not about to be lectured by a group of people that sat idly by and watched as Joe Biden pretended to be president of the United States for 4 years and someone else was making all of the decisions. Those same people that said not a word, those same people that would look at you as if you ate a cockroach if you brought it up. Those people are now lecturing us that Elon Musk is the real president. And that is a constitutional crisis. I mean, to those people, I don't know what else to say to you, except y'all just need to go pound sand. I'm not going to be lectured about a constitutional crisis by you. Even if I don't know what the heck you're talking about. In the meantime, many of you have reflected on some of our commentary over the first 2 hours, some of which included commentary on the Super Bowl and the halftime show. John writes in and says, I watched the halftime show. I could not make heads or tails out of it. My opinion, it was awful. By the way, if a large white opera singer was on the halftime show, my opinion would be exactly the same. Good for you. It's too late, John. According to Anna Navarro, you were already a racist because you had mild criticism of the halftime show. 7654 says, all of a sudden they're constitutionalists. I thought democracy was their mantra. 2581 says, hey, Matt, you want to find something frustrating? How have we gotten to the point that a random judge in Washington or New York can stay executive orders? You know, these are temporary things. I mean, and I understand that, you know, I said last hour, the real constitutional crisis is the fact that they've decided that no matter what Trump does, they're going to gum the works. Now, Donald Trump, subsequently, from a political standpoint, is doing his best to just, flood the dang zone, man. He's firing as many as he possibly can, recognizing that's, and by the way, the Trump administration has been pretty clear and clean on this. They've said, look, we believe that the president has the authority to declare that birthright citizenship is over. But we understand that there are many that will disagree, and we fully accept that the Constitution prescribes the courts as the remedy to this disagreement, and we're willing to go to court and we're willing to fight on it. That's the constitutional remedy to all of this for those that believe in the Constitution. You know who doesn't have really a command of the Constitution? Jasmine Crockett. Representative Crockett. Now, I want to remind everyone where we were just a short few months ago. People like me, Matt Murphy, were being accused on this radio station, on this radio show, of inciting you, all of you, to violence. That's right. Merely by bringing up the idea that we were a headless government run by someone who had middle stage or even late stage dementia and couldn't find his butt with a compass and a pickaxe. Me bringing that up was somehow an incitement to violence. Donald Trump telling people to peacefully protest, as the Constitution allows. that is somehow an incitement to violence. Me using words, or use our president's words when he was a candidate, just after he had almost had his head blown off by a violent liberal extremist, he says the words "fight, fight, fight," and suddenly he's the one that's inciting violence. You see how that logic works? Well, the mainstream media that wagged their fingers at us for the last 4 years, they have magically grown silent as the liberals increase the violent rhetoric.
I'm going to try my best not to preach.
Go ahead. Preach.
I just want to say thank you, because every day that we show up in D.C., we show up for you. We know who we work for. Mm-hmm. We know that we work for the American people. And what we're not going to do is stand around while they pull this bullshit that they...
Oh, she said the S word. I didn't know that she cursed. Did you dump that? I had to dump Jasmine Crockett. I can't play her now anymore. She said, "You're come on, lady. Try to be a classy show." That's on me. I thought
ultimately it's on Miss Crockett.
Well, I should
clean
have
up that language.
I should have thought better of it. I mean, Jasmine. I'm just going to wait for a second, let that delay build back up there before I continue with Ms. Crockett. I previewed it. I guess I wasn't listening as closely as I should have because she just said a nasty word that none of y'all heard. I guess maybe if you're listening on the stream.
They heard it. Yeah.
Well, if you're on the stream, you're probably...
They're used to that.
I mean, yeah, you're listening to us on the stream, and you're probably still looking up Orange Beach sex hole on the other side of it. I mean, yeah, I know what y'all are
trying to pull right now.
Go ahead. Yay, she said.
This is why I'm not going to be able to preach, because I probably won't be able to stop cussing.
Okay. Hopefully she is.
But let me tell y'all something.
If she does it again, she's over.
Some of y'all have been frustrated, and you've been saying, "We're Democrats. We're our leaders." Well, I'm here to tell you that we ain't never left y'all. All right? We are here. We are.
By the way, I like nothing more than a good hype man. Y'all know what a hype man is?
Oh, the guy in the background going, "Tell him about it."
Yeah, go ahead now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
I love a good hype man. I love a good hype man.
Also going to make sure that they uphold the law. We are not going to sit around while you go ahead and desecrate our Constitution, or you look at the laws that have been passed into law and say, "Never mind, we'll just ignore that." Instead, we are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses.
See, she's cussing again. We could get away with that one, though.
Yeah, that one's all right. I mean, she shouldn't have used it.
Boy, oh boy, she's got one level, though, doesn't she?
Ear piercing?
Yeah, it's...
And we are going to make sure... We're going to make sure you understand what democracy looks like. This ain't it.
This is what democracy looks like.
So let me tell you something.
Here we go.
Mr. Trump.
Mr. President.
You're going to learn a few lessons from us. And I'm going to be the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out, all right?
Don't say it, lady.
Now, let me be clear.
She's likely to say it.
What Maxwell said is true. Our job is to conduct oversight. We both serve on the oversight committee.
In the minority.
Right now,
she's got
as
no power.
elected leaders who tried to go in, we were told, "Well, hold on a second. We got to check to see if you can come in."
They're still mad about the Department of Education
Now, y'all
thing.
know he likes to pound around with Putin, right? He's trying to turn us into Russia. But I got news for him.
He is.
We, the people, will not go.
That's right. That's right. You say it. Go where? What is this woman saying? What? I got another 30 seconds of it. It's good.
It's cold out here, and we won't go. We won't go. We won't go.
She got a chant. Oh, there we go. We got a chant going. We won't go. We won't.
We won't go.
Go where? We will go.
Listen, the final thing.
Unless it's to go get warm, we want to go.
Is there are those that have said
Are there snacks where
that
we're
we
going?
may face a constitutional crisis.
Oh,
I
there it
want
is.
you to know that the crisis is here. That's right. I want you to know that the power belongs to the people, though, y'all.
So that's Jasmine Crockett speaking very loudly about not going someplace. And
That's
I'm
right.
That's right.
Tell
You
them
got
about
it.
I'm not entirely sure
Yeah.
what we're talking about. What? Where are we not going?
I don't know, but we ain't going.
We ain't going there, Brother Murphy.
I know where we're going.
Where's that?
We're going to break on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, it can be hard to find someone that you believe in, someone that you trust when large home repairs loom on the horizon. I have that person in the form of Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. Don't worry about this one, friends. I've got it for you. You can trust that Jeff Eddy's going to tell you the true skinny, the straight dope with regard to your heating unit or your AC when the time comes with that. Here's the deal. If you're trying to make a decision as to whether to repair or replace, that can be a very difficult decision at times because obviously you don't want to you don't want to lose the life of the unit and therefore pay additional money in electric bills and repair costs when you have the option to get a new unit in your life. And when that time comes, Jeff Eddy will tell you that, and they're an elite pro partner with Rheem. They can help you in that regard. But also, you don't want to leave life on the table, right? You talk about leaving money on the table. That's what you're doing when you replace a unit 1 or 2 or 3 years before it needs to be replaced. Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, they're going to treat you the right way, like family. They've been doing it for a long time in the Nashville area. 615-784-4424. 784-4424. Ask about their maintenance special. They remind you that they don't charge you extra on nights or weekends because they don't think that's right. Go to efficienthvac.net to find out more. That's efficienthvac.net. Tell them I sent you to Efficient Heating and Cooling.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Well, President Trump has something to say about Hamas threatening to delay the release of hostages this weekend. He has also reportedly signed 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. And here in Tennessee, you got to hear the story of a woman in Nashville who wants answers after one of her car windows was shattered while her cousin was driving on a routine errand. We'll tell you about it at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Why, thank you, Mr. Weaver. 28 minutes after the hour. Democrats have no message. We've established that. They've got no leadership. They really don't have any idea how to gain back Americans who've walked away from the dumpster fire that is the Democrat Party. And I guess ultimately what I've been describing for the better part of 45 minutes is when they're acting like petulant, spoiled children who are entitled. And I think we all know the type, the child that doesn't get their way in the grocery store because they want candy. They're not allowed to have candy, and they pitch a fit. They pitch an absolute hissy fit. And this is what I have noticed over and over and over again. Over the course of this weekend, an individual by the name of Dr. Steve Caudle, who is his words now, Christian Reverend, right here in the great state of Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, used his sermon to offer what he claims to be is a battle and offer his thoughts about how to handle that battle. I'm going to share some of that with you after Ken Weaver's newscast. Because misinformation along these lines, I mean, he's lying from the pulpit. And this, it is sad that people are going to believe this because they are conditioned to believe that their pastor is not going to. What is a lie? Okay? It's not that hard. Just like the definition of what is a woman. A woman is an adult female, right? That's what a woman is. A lie is saying something that you know not to be true at the time that you say it. A lie is not a mistake. You can make a mistake. I can tell Ken Weaver when he leaves here, right after his final newscast, that I-24 is clean and clear, Ken. That would be a lie because I know that that's not true at the time that I say it. See? I was lying. A lie is something that you know not to be true at the time that you say it. This man knows what he's talking about is not true, and I'm going to play it for you next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here comes the news.
Speaking of I-24, we'll have a full forecast and traffic report here in 5 minutes. President Trump just said the Gaza ceasefire deal should be canceled if Hamas doesn't release all hostages by Saturday. Of course, earlier today, Hamas said they were going to delay hostage release scheduled for this weekend because they claim Israel has violated the Gaza ceasefire. President Trump's reportedly signed 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. What might that mean?
Fizzy drinks, right? Carbonated drinks. They use aluminum in their cans. Those prices would most likely go up as they did during his first administration. Also, think about household items like pots and pans. Also, sporting equipment like golf clubs made of aluminum, bats for baseball made of aluminum. So there are lots of different areas.
That's Alexis Christoforous. Here in Tennessee, Channel 4's Jordan James has a story of a woman in Nashville who wants answers after her car window was shattered while her cousin was driving to get food on Saturday.
A routine ride here along Old Glen Rose Avenue has left Michelle Crow reconsidering her safety. This comes after her cousin was driving her vehicle Saturday night. She says he approached the I-24 overpass. The back window was shattered.
He heard a boom.
Metro police are not sure who or what caused the damage, but they're investigating it as vandalism. It's left Michelle Crow on high alert.
You've got kids that come down there, old folks that come down there and walk. There's got to be something done. You know, they're to the point now they're fed up and they're going to start taking the law into their own hands.
Crow estimates that it'll cost about $500 to get that window fixed.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Brentwood got a vehicle fire blocking the right shoulder, 65 northbound, approaching Old Hickory Boulevard. And in Smyrna, we've got a stalled vehicle blocking the left lane, 24 westbound at Sam Ridley Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I love the brand new sponsor, Dickens Turf and Landscape, on the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Now, they're not brand new in your life, I don't imagine, nor on this radio station, but new for me to talk about them. And I love that they are a locally built company like Dickens Turf and Landscape, and they are your source for Kawasaki engine parts and service. They carry Kawasaki engine parts and lubricants for your lawn equipment. They also have Kawasaki certified technicians that use genuine Kawasaki engine parts on service and repair. And they're offering their winter service special right now. Free pickup and delivery included on any zero-turn full service through Valentine's Day. That's this Friday, February 14th. Just call your closest to Dickens Turf and Landscape location to get this deal before it's over. And they have plenty of locations. Nashville, Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Brentwood, Mower, Hendersonville, and Mount Juliet and Franklin. I was by the Mount Juliet location this morning. They were early this morning. They were putting out the zero turns right out in front of the store. Absolutely love to see it. Go where the pros go. Go to Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Whether you're looking for quality parts, products, the best advice, visit your one-stop shop. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. 7 convenient locations right here in Middle Tennessee. You're never too far away. Go to DickensSupply.com. That's DickensSupply.com. And when you stop by the store, do me a favor and tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Dickens Turf and Supply. Super Talk. I'm sorry. I was. It's rude to laugh when you come back from a break. We have fun here. I was just relating a story to Mr. Weber. Not a nincompoop story. That's coming up in a second. Well, I
think it's more of a borderline hype man conversation.
Oh, yeah.
You're kind of being a hype man a little bit.
I'm being accused of it.
That's right.
That's right. Huh. You said it.
Go on now.
Let's go now. You tell them.
Is that
Preach. Yeah, I can be a hype man every once in a while, especially when it's I'm a hype man for some of our fine sponsors on Super Talk 99.7 WT, and I do that on occasion. So we're getting to nincompoops in just a moment. I just need to play you this. This is too serious of a situation to declare this guy a nincompoop, but in all seriousness, misinformation and violent rhetoric about the Department of Government Efficiency is spilling out into the pulpits across the United States of America, particularly in what we would say is predominantly black congregations. And sadly, they just get away with it. So I am supposedly prevented from speaking back on this or lashing back on this because there are people in the United States of America that use the color of their skin as a bludgeon. And they dare you to object to them. Because they will tell you, they will finagle a way, they will contort themselves in any way need be to declare you unfit for society as a racist. And I'm, for one, sick of it. And frankly, while not immune from it, I'm sick of it. And by immune from it, I mean, I know I'm a target too. We're all targets. If you have the audacity to speak truth. So I'll play this for you. It's about 1 minute and 20 seconds of lying and misinformation from the pulpit in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
And in this nation, I'm worried that we are on the verge of bloodshed. This is an attempt to take us back to a day that we do not want to go and we will not go. So therefore, there will be conflict. I pray that the peace of God will win out and overcome the madness that is attempting to take over this nation. And I will say to you, beloved, no one likes violence, but sometimes violence is necessary. When Elon Musk forces his way into the United States Treasury and threatens to steal your personal information and your Social Security check, there is the possibility of violence.
I'm pausing so that y'all can make sure y'all just heard that. A pastor by the name of Steve Caudle out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, who preaches for the Greater Second Missionary Baptist Church in Chattanooga, is telling his congregation that Elon Musk is breaking into your Social Security accounts and stealing your Social Security check. I asked Mr. Weber, as executive producer of the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk earlier today, to reach out because I give you the easy tasks, right?
Oh, yeah. Always.
You know,
just simple. Simple stuff.
Let's just get Mr. Caudle on so he can explain himself.
Dr. Caudle.
I mean, pardon me. Excuse me. Dr. Mr. Caudle. And I'm sure we have him scheduled for some point this week. What did you hear?
Yeah, I found a couple numbers for the good doctor. One was his office, the pastor's office, dialed that number up and was quickly greeted with a doo-doo-doo. The number you have dialed is no longer in service.
Oh, really?
Indeed.
Oh, that was quick.
The second number, the church's, I guess just their main directory.
Yeah, the Greater Second Missionary Baptist Church.
Yep, that was, it rang a few times, then finally a voicemail picked up, which promptly informed me that the mailbox was full and was not accepting any new messages. So unfortunately, I have hit a bit of a dead end.
A little bit of a roadblock there?
A little bit.
Well, you know, maybe we let this die down for a day or two and try Dr. Steve Caudle back, the Greater Second Missionary Baptist Church. Yeah. You know, you hear about the Greater Second. What about the Lesser Second Missionary Baptist Church? You never hear about those.
Is the Greater Second better than the Lesser First?
Well, no. I mean, I would think on the grade scale, I would consider the lesser first to be like an A minus, and the greater second would be like a B plus.
That's what I'm thinking, but that's why I asked the question.
Right.
Just wanted to clarify.
I wonder if they give out cookies and Kool-Aid to the kids on Wednesday night service.
They're drinking Kool-Aid.
Yeah. They're drinking Kool-Aid, all right.
Drinking some sort of Kool-Aid. Real quick, we'll let the good Reverend finish up his violent rhetoric.
Sometimes the devil will act so ugly that you have no other choice but to get violent and fight. Well, someone might say, now, Reverend, you shouldn't be talking about violence. This isn't the Christian thing to do. Well, I will say, why not talk this way? Because Jesus did. Jesus said in this key verse, didn't he? The kingdom of heaven suffers what? Violence. And the who? The violent take it by force. The kingdom of God is a war zone. It is a battlefield. You did know this, right?
Wow.
These people are going to create a dynamic by which there's blood shed over lies. That man lied to his congregation, and he knows it.
Yeah, telling them that their Social Security checks are being stolen. And some of them are going to believe that.
But sadly. I mean, I think of my grandma. My grandma and my grandpa, they were not very religious people when I was young, but they became more religious as they got older, as I got older. And they regularly attended Bethel Baptist Church and Preacher Tim. And that's what I call him this moment. If he walked through this door, I would say, hey, Preacher Tim. I don't even know his last name. But my grandmother thought the sun rose and set with Preacher Tim. And she would believe anything that Preacher Tim told her. And I'm thankful that Preacher Tim was a godly man and would not go near a lie like this. But sadly, this dude will. And there are people in his congregation that are going to believe this garbage. And they're going to go home and they're going to tell their kids and their grandkids about what Preacher Caudle told her at church. And and a lie travels 1,000 miles before the truth has a chance to get its britches on. And they're going to scare the hell out of people, and they're going to cause people a lot of pain. For no other reason than just to lie about it. You know what? I need a palate cleanser in the form of nincompoops in the news. I mean, Dr. Caudle's a nincompoop. There's no question about it.
Well, and apparently he's not paying his phone bill.
Beep, beep, beep.
Maybe
we're sorry.
I thought maybe I dialed that number wrong.
The number you have reached is no longer in service.
Called it back. Nope.
Looks like Doge cut the line.
And maybe so. Maybe cut out that Starlink. You know what by the way, real quick, quick aside, we'll get to some nincompoops in the news real quick. You know what I heard for the first time in a long time the other day?
What's that?
Busy signal. I forget who I was calling. I don't know the last time I'd heard a busy signal.
Me either.
That's a really good point.
Old school.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time. Well, of course, I don't call many people on the phone.
Man,
anymore,
I'll tell you, back in my day, Heather Court, man, always busy signal. Always busy signal. Anyway, Ken Weaver, for your professionalism,
yes, sir,
and for the work you're doing in the newsroom, you get to go first today.
All right. This is from the New York Post, and here's the lead line. What a dope. Of Florida.
Oh, boy.
It's always Florida. A Florida woman is back behind bars just days after being released on bond for drug trafficking after deputies found meth in her tote bag that read, "Definitely not a bag full of drugs." Taryn Ackery's car pulled over by a deputy whose canine Aurora detected something amiss. The driver of the car let the deputy search and insisted, quote, "Nothing illegal should be inside." The deputy said, well, unfortunately for him, Aurora found several bags full of drugs. So the tote was a liar. A deputy found methamphetamine, needles, Narcan, digital scales, small baggies, cut straws, and other items associated with drugs in the bag that said, definitely not a bag full of drugs. Acri was swiftly arrested and charged with trafficking, basically the same charges she faced from 2 weeks prior, where she was let out on a $15,000 bond. They're still trying to figure out their bond. Anyway, the sheriff there says, in Brevard County, we have zero tolerance for crime, especially when it comes to people putting poison out on our streets and their totes have lies on them.
It's not a bag full of drugs.
I made up that last part.
It's never a bag full of money either.
No.
That damn uneducated dog. If only he could read,
he
would have seen that there wasn't anything illegal.
Right,
in
just
that
look
bag.
at the sign, pal.
Yeah.
You doing there? That's
Aurora.
awesome.
Who names their canine Aurora in?
Not a bag full of drugs.
Yeah. A couple of geniuses, right?
That's like people that save their dealer as not a drug dealer in their phone contact.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah. That's good too.
By the way, I like the name Aurora for a canine.
Aurora?
Yeah, her name was Aurora.
Oh, that's cute. That's good.
Slick.
Mr. Weber.
All right, mine comes from the UK. The bosses with the Royal Navy had a bit of a scare recently where they heard some suspicious pings that they were afraid were Russian drones targeting some UK nuclear subs.
Ooh.
And this comes after they've had a couple of incidents recently in the UK. Back in November, a Navy sub surfaced next to a Russian spy ship that had been loitering over some undersea infrastructures in the English Channel. And then I think back in January, Russian ships damaged some British underwater cables, and they were being faced with being boarded and seized by some Marines there in the UK. And this was the third such incident that they were afraid that could have been Russians doing some things they shouldn't have done. It raised concerns that Vladimir Putin's drone subs had been listening or dropping listening devices onto the seabed between the Isle of Raasay, I guess that's how you pronounce that, and Applecross, which is in northwest Scotland. The sound was first detected traveling north from the range towards the open sea. A couple days later, it came back and moved south towards the Sky Bridge before turning around and leaving. Analysts thought that it could have been man-made sounds at first, and they had never picked up such sounds in their 55-year history. And it was feared that Russia's deep-sea research unit known as Googie was trying to record some acoustic signatures of the UK subs, making them easier to track and putting the crews in danger. However, it was later determined that the suspicious pings were none other than whale farts. And not Russian assets after all.
I didn't know whales did that.
You know, contrary to what every woman in my life has ever told me, all God's creatures fart.
Yeah.
It cracks me up that it's a ping.
Well,
wouldn't it be like a ping rather than a ping, ping, ping,
Ping.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Ping. Pardon me. I wonder if whales apologize.
You know, they've been doing this for a long time. We've had underwater
think.
technology. You think they would have heard a whale fart?
You would think.
Just saying. I don't know who they got manning the equipment there, but mark that one on the charts. Whale fart.
Okay, continuing the theme of bodily functions, I take you to Key West, Florida, where, Key West is traditionally known as having a very, very laissez-faire attitude about life in general. And even public displays of affection. However, there are limits in Key West. Now, I'm going to warn you that I'm going to self-edit this story. In other words, I have to change language within the story to fit the time of day and the fact of the matter that there might be children in the car. So I'm going to protect you parents from those little pictures that you may have in your automobiles. Even in Key West, Florida, where some lewd behavior is tolerated, you're going to get arrested for having relations at 4:20 in the morning on a sidewalk adjacent to a main road through town.
Great goodness.
Early Tuesday morning, police officers driving on a 2-lane stretch of U.S. Route 1, that's the main drag down there, when they spotted a woman.
Careful.
Well, it says bent over. I mean, in front of a gentleman who was, doing things.
He was upright.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. The couple was situated in front of a pet grooming business, which is maybe my favorite part of this story. Officer Brian Sinichin said the two suspects continued their activity while my car was in front of them until I activated my emergency light. Wow. So the cop car was right there, and they just, went about their business.
Focused, man.
In the glow of his love light, they decided to stop William Janot, 41, quote, put an item back in his britches, while Diane Clausen pulled down her dress.
Goodness.
Clausen was reportedly, according to the police report, disheveled. In the Janot and Clausen were subsequently arrested for committing lewd acts with another person in a public place. The duo booked in the Monroe County Jail on the misdemeanor charge. Janot was later quoted as saying that he did not realize that was illegal in Key West. Court records indicate that Janot's address was in Michigan. However, he recently began a job at a Key West yacht company. Oh. Clausen works as a server in Key West, lives in nearby Stock Island, and according to the report, is a licensed esthetician, also known as a facial specialist. And that is Nincompoops in the news.
Those are some good ones, man.
Vote early, vote often. Already Ken Weaver has 3 votes. That started before you and I even got our stories out.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
54 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I mean, the new year's here, right? I mean, we're already well into February. Are you still in pain? Why in the world are you living in pain? Are you taking pills? I know how this works, folks, because I've been there and I've done that. With my lower back pain and really what my upper neck pain had become, I was popping pills on the regular. I was taking medications. I was putting on some of that, goop that blocks pain as well, just as a way to try to continue to play golf. Well, I found the Dr. Gill Center when I got to town, and now Dr. Gill has alleviated my pain along with his qualified folks, Dr. Wendy, Dr. Dominic, Dr. V, the rest of the gang. I mean, they have years and years, decades of qualified experience in chiropractic care, but they also do so much more. They have a Class 5 laser system, red light therapy, spinal decompression, E-stim, all designed to pinpoint inflammation in the body, to reduce pain, to accelerate healing, and it is what they do. They do so in a natural way to avoid consideration for surgery, which always should be a last resort, and to avoid having to pop pills as a result of your pain. Call Dr. Gill today to find out what they can do for you. Schedule that appointment, 615-882-4838, 882-4838, or call me painfree.com.
6 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Could be a messy commute tomorrow morning. We're going to get some rain. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Officials confirm at least one person has died after an aircraft crashed on the runway today at the Scottsdale, Arizona airport. This is Fire Captain Dave Folio.
We have 5 souls, 1 DOA, 2 immediates that have been transported to local trauma centers, 1 delayed stable to a local hospital, and this is a still active scene. We're still working on extricating 1 soul out of one of the airplanes.
Yeah, the FAA says a Learjet veered off the runway and crashed into a Gulfstream jet there in Scottsdale. President Trump just signed an executive order imposing a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. This is the beginning of making America rich again. Our nation requires steel and aluminum to be made in America, not in foreign lands. We need to create, in order to protect our country's future, a resurgence of U.S. manufacturing and production, the likes of which has not been seen for many decades.
President Trump wasn't finished. He officially pardoned former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, who served time after his 2011 convictions on charges that included trying to sell an appointment to then-President Obama's old Senate seat.
It's my honor to do it. I've watched him. He was set up by a lot of bad people, some of the same people that I had to deal with.
Blagojevich served 8 years in prison before Trump commuted his sentence back in 2020. Here in Nashville, a woman looking for answers after a terrifying incident involving over the weekend. Channel 4's Jordan James.
What was meant to be a quick run to get food ended with Metro Police being called out after Michelle Crow's car window was busted. Crow says her cousin was driving her vehicle along Glen Rose Avenue Saturday night when he approached the I-24 overpass. That's when the window was shattered.
He heard a boom, and the result was my window.
Metro Police say they're unsure of who or what caused the damage, but are investigating it as vandalism. Meanwhile, Crow says her sense of safety is gone.
Crow says her cousin was not hurt. Repairs are going to cost about $500. Well, the director of the Mountain Home Veterans Affairs in Johnson City, East Tennessee, has resigned amid an investigation into reports of an orgy on the campus of that VA. But the identity of the director has not been revealed. 3 others have also resigned. Chairman of the House Committee on Veterans Affairs, Republican Mike Bost of Illinois, telling Fox 17 that's a good start, but there are 15 other female employees involved in the scandal who are still working there. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. So the time has come, ladies and gents, to think about the spring. I understand that it's the middle of February, but it's already getting warm outside, right? That means, look, I'm not trying to tell you what you already know, but the fact of the matter is it's bug sex season. It's about to be here. And with that, you need to protect your property. You need to protect your family. You need to protect with U.S. Pest because they prevent the bugs from coming on your property and doing what they do to create more little bugs. And then that's just going to add to itself. And before you know it, you've got a serious issue. U.S. Pest prevents all of these things. 100% money-back guarantee on termite protection. 100% money-back guarantee on pest control. 100% money-back guarantee on crawl space protection. I invite you to call U.S. Pest. And when you do, by the way, when you switch over, your first appointment is absolutely at no charge. That's your first service appointment. That's a $200 value, and they do that for you for free just by making the switch to U.S. Pest. Friends, they are superior in every way to whatever pest control company you're currently using. So I invite you to make the call that so many others have made to U.S. Pest at 590-1260. That's 590-1260 or online, uspest.com.
Rural Hill got an accident, left shoulder block, 24 westbound right after Bell Road. Also 24 westbound at Bell Road. So looks like 2 crashes right there on 24 westbound at Bell Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy, and you, along with Ken Weaver, along with Chris Webber. We thank you for being out there. You can give us a call, participate in the proceedings. Dial us up at 615-737-9986 if you so desire. You can also hit us up on the members. Golly, why do I always do that? I mean, I love Members Nutrition, but they no longer sponsor the Super Text line. But I keep giving them sponsorship. Okay, well, fine. Members Nutrition. There, I said it. One way or the other, dial us up on the Super Text line and tell Murphy that he's lost a step or two. 615-737-9986. I was in my defense, I was a little distracted. I was looking a fun fact up. By the way, in a surprise upset victory, Whale Farts has beaten out Ken Weaver.
Yes.
Although I would say to you that several of our listening audience announced that for the first time in the history of Nincompoops in the News, they considered it to be somewhat of a 3-way tie. One person going so far as to call it a 3-way tie. But, Ken, I'm sad to report you got beat by Whale Farts.
Rats.
I know.
No whales.
I still don't believe they sound like pings.
Oh, and, well, I don't believe that either, A. And B, all of you on the Super Text line and on the YouTube channel can stop telling me that about the chickens/roosters that are allowed to roam free in Key West. I've been to Key West. I'm well aware, and I understand the correlation between my story and what you're saying. And I can understand why somebody might have gotten confused.
Going to connect those dots. Huh?
When they were told that the roosters are allowed to roam free.
Got it.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I get it, and that's all we're going to do with that.
I ain't never going there.
Mm-mm. How many people do you think are in the Never Missed a Super Bowl club?
What does that mean? Never, like, been to everyone?
Is a group of football fans outside of owners and staff of the NFL who've gone to every Super Bowl since 1967.
Wow.
Visa popularized the original group of 4 in a commercial. I guess I just buried the lead. In a commercial that aired in 2010. So there's
how many are there?
There were 4.
I'm going to guess 5.
Since then, 2 members have died. One has been retroactively added, so they found another person that they didn't realize had been to every Super Bowl. So there are 3 individuals on the planet Earth that have been to every Super Bowl in person. Don Chrisman, Tom Henschel, and Gregory Eaton, all of which most recently attended Super Bowl 59 yesterday.
Well, I'll be.
My question is, do you think they still have to pay for it?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Who's buying their tickets? Because I fail to believe that these 3 gentlemen, I don't know what they do for a living, but most people just don't have the money to drop on Super Bowl tickets.
I saw y'all want to guess what the average, I don't know if I believe this or not, but it was on Fox News, so I don't know if I believe this or not. No. Average ticket price, get-in price.
$5,000, right?
I was going to say like 7 or 8.
$4,800. Yeah.
So $5,000.
Right, $5,000.
Yeah, that's basic to get in the building.
That's to get in the building. Yeah. Obviously, they're going to go up from there.
Sure.
I mean, it's just not. I don't understand how average people. I mean, I guess if you just make it your vacation for that year.
Well, then here's the
several
question:
years.
Were these 4 now 3? Do they go together, or do they know one another?
Well, let's see. Let's just
because if you're going by yourself, how much fun would that be?
The club was first popularized by Visa as a part of an advertising campaign. The commercial was narrated by Morgan Freeman. He had a pretty good commercial line on the that home.com thing. I thought that was pretty funny, the home.com. That was one of the better commercials last night. Surveys have shown blah, blah, blah. Visa came up with an advertising campaign featuring 4 men who have attended every Super Bowl since the first one in 1967. The 4 men were New England's Patriot fan Don Chrisman, San Francisco 49ers fan Larry Jacobson, Pittsburgh Steelers fan Tom Henschel, Green Bay Packers fan Robert Cook.
Based on that, I would assume they did not know one another.
I assume they did not.
And see, that's interesting. I guess it doesn't mean they go alone, though. But they go every year, regardless of who they may take,
and maybe
with
find different people to go with them.
Yeah,
I mean, I would just it would be odd if they went by themselves. To me,
I would think so. I wouldn't want to go by myself too, especially a game that I don't necessarily have a rooting interest in.
Right now, you feel a certain level of obligation to go. Right.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. So I think as far as I understand the story, these are just 4 people that were discovered by Visa in 2010. They did a nationwide search. Hey, if you've been to every Super Bowl, let us know. And since then, 3 individuals have been identified as, or I guess it was 4, then 2, now 3, who are still alive and have been to every Super Bowl since, all 59 of them. I mean, gosh, you have to be, 80? Yeah. Something along those lines.
Wow.
It's a lot. It's a lot of money.
That's something. But
that's a lot of money.
That's something I would want to do.
So that's $5,000 to get into the game. And I don't think for a second any of these people are actually paying anymore. I think they're probably being comped. But I'm just thinking about how much, like Weber, if you and I just decided we're going.
Yeah.
It's $5,000 each to get into the game. Hotel accommodations, I would think that we want a hotel.
Yep. Got to have at least one night, probably 2 nights in realistic terms.
And realistically, that hotel, even in the boondocks on a Super Bowl weekend, $500
easily.
Okay, even if we do double occupancy or whatever, that's another $1,000. I mean, so yeah, really the expense are the tickets because the rest of it's probably going to be a couple grand maybe.
Yeah.
Getting there, gas.
No small change.
That's not chump change. But you're talking, for 2 people to go, $12,000, $14,000.
Yeah, I could think of a lot of things I'd rather spend.
A lot of things that I would rather do than sit in the nosebleeds and watch the Philadelphia Eagles beat crap out of the Kansas City Chiefs.
And think about it, in this day and age, you don't even get a ticket to commemorate it because everything's digital. Back in probably for the first 30, they had a cardboard hard ticket.
Oh yeah,
with some sort of hologrammed image. And
I seem to remember a couple of years ago there was an auction for because you got the stub, right?
Yeah,
they would take a piece and they would keep that, indicating that ticket had been used,
been validated or whatever.
And there were 2 tickets to the first Super Bowl that they didn't call the Super Bowl; they just called it the
NFL championship game.
Championship game.
Yeah.
Who was that? That would have been Green Bay Packers and Chiefs, I think, the first one.
Yeah, I can't remember.
That was either the first or the second one. Anyway, Packers won the first 2. I know that. Yeah, and so they found a couple of tickets, which, by the way, here's a fun fact. Go back and watch. There is not a complete first Super Bowl game. They don't have
like a recording.
They don't have a recording, but they have pieces of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first 2, what we now call Super Bowls, you could have walked up.
Tickets still available.
There were tickets available, and you can see from the camera shots that there are large sections of the stands that are just empty.
They're like, it's too cold for this.
Well, because people thought the AFL was a chump league, and they felt like the NFL was the league and that the Green Bay Packers were the rightful champions, and this was just some sort of, performative exhibition game. Well,
interesting.
Yeah, anyway, your fun facts on the Super Bowl on the Matt Murphy Show and Super Talk. Governor Bill Lee has spoken. He has delivered his State of the State address. I want to run down a little bit of what the governor said a little earlier tonight. as he has delivered the 7th State of the State address. Governor Bill Lee pledged to assist Tennesseans with increasingly unaffordable everyday expenses like child care and housing. Now, understand this. I was not in attendance, obviously, and I did not listen. I was doing this radio show. So I'm leaning a little bit on the reporting of the Tennessean. Beware. Beware. Lee highlighted 2025 as a year of innovation, saying it's time to think bigger and more boldly about what's possible. If Tennessee has led the nation as a beacon of opportunity, security, and freedom, why can't we be the nation's capital of innovation too, he said in his annual address. Somebody's going to determine what the future looks like. That should be Tennessee. His budget proposal, released today, maintains much of the status quo. Lee's budget proposal includes $58.4 billion, which is $2 billion less than last year amid projections of flattening state revenue and waning federal funding. They adjust based on these things. Lee has proposed no new tax breaks for everyday Tennesseans. A year after pushing through a massive tax refund for corporations, which will eventually trickle down to human beings, by the way. Corporations don't pay taxes. That's Matt Murphy talking. The governor's budget does not include funding to repeal the state's grocery tax, which has been proposed in 2 bills, and it's going nowhere. The grocery tax is not going to be repealed this year. In his speech from the Tennessee House Chamber, Lee noted a dramatically different housing market than when he bought his first home, skyrocketing housing prices in the last 4 years, increasing mortgage rates. He proposed a $60 million starter home revolving loan fund, which will provide zero-interest construction loans in addition to funding a lower zero interest. You know, I'm looking for a house. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, Governor Lee, I hope you're not pricing me out of this. Zero-interest construction loan in addition to funding a housing tax credit passed in 2024. Elsewhere, he promised to add tens of thousands of new daycare spots across Tennessee on the heels of a new report of skyrocketing daycare costs. Not yet clear, according to the Tennessean, how exactly the administration could accomplish a dramatic expansion of daycare availability in the state, but Lee said he pledged to invest $11 million in the Boys and Girls Club. He also said Tennessee will expand the wages program, which supplements child care workers' salaries. Budget also includes $80 million in recurring funds and a one-time $1 billion injection for road improvement, which comes after transportation officials gave Lee a, quote, sobering financial outlook in a fall budgeting hearing. Transportation officials say that they have a backlog of improvement projects that the funding was projected to decrease by about $42 million over the next few years. So that's the synopsis, if you will, of the State of the State address. I don't want to bore you with anything, but there you go. A lot of budget talk on the part of the governor, necessary for the function of government, clearly, and we'll keep you aware of anything you need to be aware of regarding his State of the State address. 19 minutes after the hour at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I've got a question or two for you regarding your insurance. How much do you pay for your health insurance in the last year, and what did that really cost you? Now, if you're an individual, you need to call Shane Ring at Cover Nash. He can tell you what your insurance cost you today. As a matter of fact, he's ready to meet with you, to sit down with you. He's in Brentwood. He's not a national company. He's not a 1-800 number. He lives right here in good old Nashville, Tennessee. And he believes in helping people like you right here in Tennessee get the most from your health insurance. Secondarily, he wants to help you business owners or entrepreneurs. So if you're a business owner and you're looking for coverage for your employees, or if you're an individual and you're also looking for a health plan, you need to think Cover Nash. You need to think Shane Ring. Let him get you into a health plan that not only covers you and takes care of what you need to take care of, it also pays you, not the other way around. Healthcare coverage tailored to your needs. Don't get taken advantage of. Call Shane Ring and Cover Nash today. Once again, individual or business owner, let's make the call that so many others have made to Cover Nash. Find out more by going to covernash.com. That's covernash.com, and take control of your money and your health coverage managed by you, not by the government. Call 615-465-0023. 465-0023 and tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Cover Nash.
Governor Lee pledging to help Tennesseans with everyday expenses like housing and childcare. And President Trump is responding to Hamas, saying it's going to suspend the release of more Israeli hostages. These stories and the day's closing money news coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, I didn't realize as I was relating some of the stuff that Governor Bill Lee is delivering in the speech is happening like right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, the governor maybe hasn't said some of these things that I just related to you. They embargo the speech until such time as he begins delivering it.
Yeah.
And at that point, he throws it out to all the media. I mean, Ken Weaver's got a copy of the speech right now.
Well, I don't have a copy of the speech. I'm going off the Tennessean.
Oh, well, there you go.
We can listen to a little bit of it if you want to.
I mean, you got it?
I got it pulled up.
Let's go. Yeah. Come on, Governor. Let's make that happen. I mean, I'm ready for it.
Expanding vocational and technical and agricultural courses in all 95 counties, but still financial barriers exist for so many. Our current system covers the cost of TCAT tuition for most students, but some are still left out. We also know that a lot of these courses require expensive tools and books and equipment, costs that deter many from enrolling. These gaps keep thousands of Tennesseans back from the opportunity to reach their full potential. So tonight I'm proposing the Tennessee Works Scholarship, a new award that will cover every penny of TCAT tuition and fees for all students. And it will finally relieve the extra cost burden of tools and equipment for those most in need.
He just talked about building nuclear energy on the Clinch River, by the way, so that's a big deal, too. Talking about energy, farmers, and then obviously some of these jobs programs. We might, keep it right here. Keep it right here. Is he gonna talk a little more, or is that it?
We are sending the message that TCATs are open, they're available, and free to any Tennessean who wants to skill up and enter our best in the nation workforce. To truly innovate our workforce, we have to start early. Last year, we created a new model, the Tennessee Youth Employment Program. Thanks to Commissioner Thomas and her team, in just 1 year, this strategic partnership has connected over 4,500 young Tennesseans to local employers, giving them real work experience that will open doors and strengthen our workforce all at the same time. The Youth Employment Program has been such a huge success that it's time to take it to the next level. So this year, we're expanding the program to operate year-round, seeking to double participation and reach even more underserved communities. Now, I've had the privilege of meeting many of our youth employment programs.
Not to interrupt the governor there, but he's talking about many of the different programs that he's proposing within his budget, and I'm not here to suggest that budget talk is boring. I would never suggest that. I'll say it. I mean, I wouldn't suggest it. I will say it, that it is boring. And so we're going to move away from it. We will catch you up, too. That's what Ken Weaver's for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Get through all of the fluff and get to the meat of the matter and let us know what the heck's going on, which he will do in minutes from now in his final newscast on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, we have been corrected, fellas. What we were quoting, the $5,000 figure was apparently the average ticket price, not the get-in ticket price.
Oh, really? Average?
Apparently the get-in ticket price as of the game last night, which probably was a little bit elevated then, was $2,668 as of 2 hours before game time. Cheapest ticket available on a third-party site. So I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. It's a lot of money.
Still way out of my price.
I mean, yeah, it's more money than I would be willing to pay to go to a football game.
Yep.
So there is that. Now, for those of you wondering where Matt Murphy is on the great penny debate of 2025, I've been waiting for this because, friends, I'm a little annoyed. Now, I'm not one to talk against our man, DJT, but I think the Orange Man has jumped a little bit in front of Matt Murphy's parade.
Ooh.
I'm just throwing it out there where the goats can graze on it because your humble host and correspondent has been preaching the gospel on the elimination of pennies for the better part of 20 years now. I mean, very early on in my radio career, I made it a habit of railing against the penny. So much so that people began to ask me not to rail against the penny. I'm going to turn the channel if you keep railing against the penny. So I'm not going to belabor it, but when we return, I'm going to offer you my treatment. And I feel like, as with most every other topic, I'm a little more passionate on this than most. I will say this, and I'm not making this up. Outside of a random one found in my house, and I will carve out that exception, because I can't tell you that I haven't touched one in a drawer somewhere or a box somewhere. I have not touched a penny in well over 10 years. I haven't touched one because they're useless. And if you watch the show on Super Talk TV, you know that they cost about 3 times what they're actually worth. I'll give you more in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's time for the news.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Rain's going to move in tonight, and it's going to hang around at least until Thursday. We'll tell you about it during the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Well, the Tennessean says Governor Lee is pledging to help people with everyday expenses like child care and housing in his 7th State of the State address. His $58 billion budget includes what Lee calls a $60 million starting home revolving loan fund, and to add what he says are tens of thousands of new daycare spots across the state. President Trump responding to Hamas, saying it's going to suspend the release of more Israeli hostages over claims Israel has broken the ceasefire deal.
President Trump saying that if Hamas doesn't release those remaining hostages by midday Saturday, then he thinks that ceasefire deal should be canceled, saying, quote, all bets are off, adding if they're not here, all hell is going to break out.
And after signing 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, President Trump said,
we'll be talking about other subjects like cars. We'll be talking about drugs and pharmaceuticals. We'll be discussing chips. And we're going to be doing some other things in addition to that.
Tulsi Gabbard advancing to a full Senate floor vote to be confirmed as National Director of Intelligence. That vote could happen as soon as Wednesday. Money News, Michelle Franzen.
Markets started the week in positive territory Monday. The Dow closed ahead 167 points. The S&P closed up 40 points, and the Nasdaq gaining 191 points. President Trump has ordered the U.S. to stop minting pennies. The announcement ends decades of efforts to phase out the 1-cent coin. Those in favor of ending the penny have argued it has a high production cost and limited usefulness. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell testifies on Capitol Hill this week as the chances of another Fed interest rate cut shrink. Officials say they want to see how falling unemployment and new administration policies affect the economy before cutting rates as planned at the last Fed board meeting.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Antioch got a crash, 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. And then in Creve Hall, a crash, 65 southbound at Harding Place. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
One of the beautiful parts about Grace Point as a primary care provider, they do things just a little bit differently. You're not a cookie cutter. You're not just a number. They're not. It's not a cattle call operation. I'm not trying to knock anybody else, but that's just the way that healthcare has become. Grace Point, they call themselves modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way, and they deliver every single day. At Grace Point, they take the time to see every patient. They will see you same day or next day, even if you are a brand new patient. There are no long wait times or crowded waiting rooms. They treat naturally whenever possible. They are a military veteran-owned practice, which I absolutely love. And this is all the reason why they've been voted the best primary care provider by Toast Music City for 3 years running. It's why I recommend you go to Grace Point Healthcare because they believe in doing things kind of the way that they used to be, the old school approach with modern medicine at their fingertips. Grace Point, I invite you to give them a call and schedule your appointment today. Whether you're sick or not, you need to make them your primary care provider. Call their Franklin office, located in the heart of Franklin, 599-6868, of course, in 615-599-6868, and schedule your next appointment today.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Super Talk 99.7 WT, and man, oh man, shoulder hurts.
Carrying that heavy load all day, huh?
Carrying the weight of, Amanda said carrying the weight. I kid because I love and because I know he's in bed right now and he's easy pickings. You know, I'm not going to pick on Chad or Hand. They might be awake and listening.
Chad looks like he could take care of business.
Looks like he would destroy me. I think. I think Chris and I would be a fair fight. Although Chris has been in a knife fight before. I've never been in a knife fight.
He's been in a knife fight?
Hey, have you never heard the story?
I have never heard that.
Hand, I think I have this approximately correct, that he was stabbed in the head.
Well, that sounds fun.
I believe I have that.
Wow.
I don't think that I would misremember a story like this.
I wouldn't think so either.
But I'm not telling tales out of school. I think he's told the story on the air that he was stabbed in the head one time.
So he brought a skull to a knife fight, apparently.
Apparently so. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was during one of Dan and Chris's conversations that happen every morning at 8:35 on Nashville's Morning News.
Wait, that's when the knife fight happened?
No. That's how it came up on the radio.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
Because Dan was questioning why Chris, and this is one of the best answers I've ever heard. Yeah, somehow the imbibing came up, drinking alcohol, and Dan said, well, "You don't drink? What? You don't drink?" And Chris said, "No, I don't drink." And he said, well, "Why don't you drink?" And Chris's response was, because I got stabbed in the head. I think that's, it's kind of a culmination of, this is what this leads to.
Yeah.
Maybe I should put it down. But one or the other. I think Chad could probably take me. so I'm not going to talk bad about him. No, did you see how excited I just got?
I did, yeah.
The shoulder thing is, I'm very excited because I'm getting my open MRI for the shoulder.
Yeah.
So hopefully the shoulder, constant pain, which is why I'm so grumpy. Normally, if I didn't have constant shoulder pain, I'm a delight to be around.
So this has been going on your whole life, is what you're saying.
Well, for a long time. Since I've been in talk radio. No, I got excited. Do you have your phone in there? What kind of phone you got over there?
I have a Google Pixel.
Okay. I want you to grab your phone. You got Google Maps on that Google Pixel?
Oh, I know what you're going to say. I already saw it.
Did you?
Already, yep. There it is, right there.
I got very, very excited. Yeah. Y'all just looky there. See if I can get it on the camera there. Looky there. You see that?
You can almost read it.
You can see that? It says.
Did they make the font really tiny on purpose?
I don't know why it's so tiny. Well, it gets bigger the font of the Gulf of America doesn't change, but
I guess you're right.
How close in you go does change. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. Now that the proclamation has been signed and Donald Trump announced yesterday that it was officially Gulf of America Day, looky there on Google Maps. It says right there on my phone, Gulf of America.
Love it.
How about that? And why not? There's nothing to say that we can't do these things. In addition to Gulf of America, Mount McKinley is now Mount McKinley again. Perfectly acceptable name for what was, for a period of time, Mount Denali. Apparently it was Denali before. And that's all fine and good. I don't care what you call it, but we're calling it Mount McKinley. My mama named it McKinley. I'm going to call it McKinley. Mama didn't name it, but you know what I'm saying. Along those lines, I declared that if Donald Trump is able to make daylight saving time permanent and eliminate the penny from American circulation, I'm going to name the rest of my kids Trump.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
That's pretty bold.
And
I like that.
Someone suggested that maybe my child-rearing days are behind me, and that's an easy declaration to make. So I said, look, if Trump accomplishes those things, I'll name the rest of my dogs after Trump.
Well, there's a move.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of options. You could go Donald.
That's a good one.
You could go Trumpy.
Yeah.
Trumpy. DJT.
Mm-hmm.
Orangey. Little Orangey. Orangey. Orangey's got blonde. He's got little blonde hair. I would do it. So the penny. I don't know a lot of people that are defending the penny. Do you defend the penny?
No, never.
Mm-mm. And it doesn't mean that you're anti-currency or you're somehow pro-digital platform. This is not something that hasn't happened before, folks. I mean, there was a time when we accepted any manner of types of currency until we stabilized our currency and uniformed our currency as America got older. And as we did that, we had the half penny, also known as the hay penny, that we no longer circulate because, well, it's a half a penny. Well, now, half penny, whatever. Pennies cost almost, about 3 cents to make, right? Isn't that right?
That's what I've heard.
That's about 3 cents to make.
Yeah.
It gets worse as you go up in denominations, by the way. I did a little research earlier today. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to blow your mind because I've been on the penny train or the anti-penny train for 20 years now. And frankly, I think Donald Trump has commandeered the engine of this train, and he has taken my captain's hat, my engineer's hat, and booted me out of the front compartment. Now I'm back in the caboose because he has taken over. He got bored enough with the Super Bowl last night that he left early and then started thinking about the penny and has now announced that he has declared that the U.S. Treasury eliminate the penny from circulation. Well, good for you. It's about time. There is no legitimate argument for the penny. None. I have done the research over 20 years. Now, I was against the penny back when the penny only cost 1.2 cents to make. Now it's up to 3 cents that it costs to make. There is no so we eliminated the hay penny or the half penny. We've also taken other denominations out of circulation. I mean, the United States Treasury tried to make the $2 bill a go. But Americans didn't really like the $2 bill for some reason. We decided that it's not enough. There's not enough benefit in the $2 bill to make it a thing. I can just carry 2 ones. Thank you very much. And I've got a 5, and I've got a 10, and I got a 20, and I got a 50, and I got a 100. We tried to make the Sacagawea a thing. Y'all remember the Sacagawea?
Oh, the coins. Yeah, the dollar coin.
And I was all about the dollar coin. I thought it was kind of cool. And everybody hated them.
Yeah, I never liked it.
Because they're heavy. They're heavy in their pockets. So here's the deal, folks. For those of you that are worried that this is somehow going to create a dynamic by which you have to pay more, you still use the penny system. Everything is based on a cent. Y'all with me so far? And you only do rounding at the end of the point of sale. So you're not rounding per purchase. You're not rounding per item. So if you're in the grocery store, because people have this conception that everything that gets beep, 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 so if you have an item that's $1.33, we're not rounding that item up to $1.35. You're charging $1.33 on. You're charging whatever the item costs. Then at the end of the point of sale, when they ring up your groceries and your groceries total, $124.62. If it is $124.62, we're going to go down to $124.60. Okay? If it is $124.63, we're going to go up to $65. So anything, if it's a 0, it's a 0. If it's a 5, it's a 5. And anything that's a 1 or a 2, you go down to the 0. Anything that's a 3 or a 4, you go up to the 5. Everybody with me so far? That's all you have to do in order to make this work. But I'm going to go one step further. I think we need to eliminate the nickel.
Ooh. Wow.
I know. It's bigger. And it's old Jefferson. And I don't mind Abe Lincoln, by the way. A lot of people. But Abe Lincoln's got the 5.
That's true.
What does he need the penny for? He's got the fiver. A nickel, my research indicated that a nickel costs well in excess of 10 cents to make. As a matter of fact, I saw one article that indicated that a nickel cost 14 cents to make.
Wow.
Now, if you're wondering, Murphy, this can't possibly save us a lot of money. I think it's like $190 million just to eliminate the penny. $190 million a year.
Seems like we wouldn't even need to keep making them at this point.
Well, no.
Nobody uses them.
Nobody uses them. Just eliminate making them, and then I haven't touched a penny in 10 years.
Yeah, they'll work themselves out at some point.
If you want to enjoy the game that I play at convenience stores or point-of-sale locations, now, I go back and forth between cash and credit card. Do you use cash a lot?
I do not use cash.
Okay. So, a lot of people don't. We're still on the cash system. Yeah. I love cash users, how they judge us when we say that we don't use cash, because they somehow think that they're better than us, and I don't agree with that. Because, I'm using my debit card, which is a representation of cash money, whatever. But if I'm using cash, I never take the pennies. Never take the pennies. I don't touch the pennies. I haven't touched a penny voluntarily in over 10 years. What I do say to them, and some get it, and over the last couple of years, more and more point-of-sale customer service reps they seem to understand it, is that during the transaction, they say it's $4.62, and I hand her a 5 or him a 5, and when they open the drawer and they start counting it back, I say, keep the pennies. It is shocking the amount of times that they keep all the change. It's just weird. I don't understand it. I think somewhere in their head. So if I hand a 10 and the amount is $3.68, and I say keep the pennies, a lot of times I just get $6 back. It's not the majority of time, but it's enough for me to realize that something in their head here's change, not pennies.
Very strange.
But I'm like, no, I want my silver. I'm not being crazy here. I just don't want the penny. Pennies cost too much to make. And here's a fun stat. Over 80% of all pennies in existence are either in cars, homes, or lost. Over 80% of all the pennies ever made are either lost in cars or in homes. Nobody circulates them anymore. Nobody. And there you go. We need to get rid of it. Maybe even the nickel too. I'm fine with that as well. Donald Trump, it's good to see you moving on this. I'm telling you, though, if he gets the penny, I mean, he's doing things that people said never could be done. I mean, hell, in his first term, he moved, our embassy to Jerusalem in Israel, for goodness sake. Speaking of that, when we come back, Donald Trump has spoken out on the idea that Hamas might be reneging to a certain degree on their agreement to release the hostages. We'll play what Trump said tonight regarding the hostages right after this. It's 10 until the top of the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here for the Glock Store. February is time for you to do something with a loved one in your life. Have you gone shooting with the loved one in your life at any point? Have you thought about it? I mean, I'm telling you, this is a great time to do it. Why? Because if you mention my name at the Glock Store, you will get not only a shooting session scheduled at shoot270.com, you'll get 2 for the price of 1. If your partner's never been, they're in for a treat because this isn't a lane range where you don't see each other. You have to, you pick number 6 and he picks number 12 and you're away from one another. No. And you have to deal with, you have to keep your ear protection on and all that sort of thing. You'll get a private shooting room with a personal shooting instructor, a professional that will tailor your session to your level of shooting expertise. Whatever level you're at now, you'll come out a better and more confident shooter, and you can do so with your loved one. As a matter of fact, they say that if you make a particularly good shot or a good cluster, all you have to do is go over there and just smooch your loved one. Just don't kiss the instructor, please, at the Glock Store. I mean, unless you ask first and they say yes. That's up to y'all. Bottom line is this. You can get 2 for the price of 1 at the Glock Store if you mention my name when you go over to shoot270.com or stop by. Minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Glockstore.com or shoot270.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Just scared the hell out of me. Look at that guy.
I can't see him.
Kirby.
Oh, well, that's frightening.
I mean, on a good day, he's scaring the heck out of me. You know what I think it was? Did I mention golf? Normally when you mention golf, Kirby shows up.
He appears.
Yeah,
huh?
he appears. By the way, Chris Hand has spoken up.
And?
He says that he could take me.
Did he confirm the stab in the head story?
He has not, but I think he would have told me if I got it wrong. I think I got the basic and look, Hand is an open book, much like yours truly. So I think he would confirm that if anybody wanted to check in with him from 9 until noon tomorrow morning on Super Talk 99.7 WT. And that said, he said I could take you, and I said absolutely, you could take me. I mean, he's spending his time chasing kids around, keeping in shape. I'm sitting over here drinking beer. I mean, I'm an old fart drinking beer. I got no shot. I don't know why we would get into it, but if there is a Super Talk Rumble, I get you and Weaver, obviously, and then Hand's going to join our team. They can have Benson, and I think we got him.
Yeah, I think we could take him.
I think Mason's the only shot they've gotten. I think Mason's too nice.
He's a softie.
Yeah, I think he's just he's too nice. But I think if we can just get Hand on the team, it's over. I don't even think they give us Hand. That's how much over I think it would be. Anyway, the FBI has apparently uncovered thousands of records connected to, don't tap off the story, Murphy, thousands of records connected to the assassination of former President John F. Kennedy. This was just less than an hour ago, according to Fox News. President Donald Trump, executive order to release the files, and they have done so. Now, obviously, we've got to go through this treasure trove of information. Axios first reported the FBI released 2,400 records tied to the November 22nd, 1963 assassination of Kennedy, which were not originally provided to the board that reviewed and disclosed the files. When the Office of the Director of National Intelligence submitted a plan for release, it disclosed the existence of the files. Fox News confirmed with a person familiar with the records, the files have been uncovered during the review. Oh, so they're reviewing the files to make sure they can uncover that, and they found documents they didn't realize they had. How about that?
Wow.
I'm telling you, I'm now the conspiracy theorist on JFK. When I was a kid, we would listen to the conspiracy theories, and they all involved Cuba or the CIA or a second shooter or the grassy knoll or Johnson. And those were considered the weirdos. In 45 years, now those are considered to be the normal people, and I'm the weirdo because I still think Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
Wow. Freako.
Patsy.
Crazy man.
Sucker. And until proven otherwise, I'm going to continue to believe that. Ooh, just enough time to play Our Man.
Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision. But as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday. And if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
There you go. There's the man, Donald J. Trump. We'll keep you up to date with all of that. Mark Levin coming up next. I've had a wonderful day. I hope you have as well. For Chris Weber, Ken Weaver, have a great evening. So long, everybody.